family hired an investigator to make me leave my boyfriend.
He must suck.
There is a trigger warning for emotional and verbal abuse. I, 25 female, met my partner, 29 male, in 2020 while I was finishing my undergrad studies, and we were both in the same field. Our first conversations were deep about our personal philosophies, culture, faith, and our views on the world, and we quickly realized that our values aligned so well. By the way, this comes from user I Want a Break, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, he's funny, attentive, smart, talented, and ambitious, and I was so in love, and I still am. We made it official 2 months in. Low-key, we both knew we wanted to marry each other already, but of course, we didn't rush as we were still finishing up school.
Smart.
Genius, even.
Yeah.
What school are you going to? Harvard? The Harvard-Yale School of...
The Harvard-Yale School?
The Harvard-Yale School of Dartmouth-Oxford Medicine?
Of Dartmouth, Oxford, MIT.
No, it's up Colgate. Don't forget about that.
Ah, the toothpaste university.
Yes.
We have the same religious background, but not the same ethnicity. For this reason, both of us were nervous to tell our parents about our relationship because we didn't know how they'd react. Most ethnic parents would want their kids to keep it within the culture, so to speak. But from what I know, they may be stubborn at first, but will come around eventually. Right?
Uh-oh.
Right?
Uh-oh.
For me, ethnicity is a non-issue. We're both religious, so having the same faith is more important, in my opinion. I thought my parents would think the same, because if they're so religious too, then they shouldn't place their cultural values over their faith. My partner didn't wait too long to tell his parents. They and his siblings were very supportive and welcomed me with open arms. I, on the other hand, hesitated for the longest time because I really had no idea how my parents would react. I'm a bit fearful of them, and honestly, my relationship with my parents isn't that close. Of course, they're caring and all, but not in an emotional way where I can come up to them and be vulnerable about something. Definitely not my dad. This is where I'm at fault, because even if it was hard for me to be honest with them, I should have just done so instead of hiding my relationship from them. My siblings knew before my parents did. They didn't care, but my sister, 29, on the other hand, being the eldest, was too panicked about it and advised me to just end the relationship because an interracial marriage is going to be complicated. That's insane. But that's not the advice I needed, and I didn't want to just end the relationship either. I truly believe he's my soulmate. Her entire attitude towards it was just kind of, I gave you my 2 cents. I don't want to be involved in this mess. I think it was a year into our relationship when my mom found a birthday card from my partner in my room. She found my stash of greeting cards from him and read them all.
What? Who reads birthday cards? Who reads other people's birthday cards? That's so weird.
Apparently OP's mom.
Sorry, not like who reads anybody. Like, I read my
Who
birthday
reads
cards.
birthday cards? I just open them, and if money doesn't fall out,
I don't read them.
I burn them.
No, who reads other people's birthday cards?
She confronted me with them, and she wasn't even mad. But when I told her about his ethnicity, she freaked out. She made me tell my dad, and he just laughed in my face and didn't even let me talk. It took a couple of days for my mom to calm down because honestly, she really was overreacting. The conclusion was they weren't happy with the relationship and wanted me to end it. I didn't want to, of course.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
There we go then.
It was swept under the rug. And for the next 3 years, my partner and I continued our relationship and even went on some trips together. But my parents were in the dark about the specifics of it all. Of course, the dishonesty is very wrong, but in my mind, they didn't create a safe space for me to be honest with them. Yeah, the dishonesty is not wrong. Your parents are, like, racist.
Yeah, I mean, like, immediately after you told them, they were like, ha! No, you're not. You're not dating him. It's not the most,
You're literally 25. They have no business or
I mean, you're not
right
living with
to
them.
dictate who you're in a
Yeah.
relationship with or who you're dating. Especially if it's because, like, they don't look like you.
Yeah, that's
You can't date them. They don't look like you.
Bad reason.
They did not come from the same place as your ancestors. Lame.
Pretty bad reasoning.
Lame.
Boo.
Go to the place.
Go to the place.
In the sun.
Anywho.
I couldn't just tell them, oh, hey, I'm going out for dinner and he's going to be there. Bye. Love you. XO, Gossip Girl.
Oh, wait, does OP live with them?
I
thought she
don't
didn't, but now I'm like, maybe she does.
Maybe.
Because, oh, wait, yeah, she said that her mom went into her room.
Oh, that
So I
would,
think
yeah,
OP
that's
does
fair.
still live with them. So
Okay.
that makes it a lot harder. Ugh.
The conversation about us would only be brought up occasionally in those 3 years because at this point, me and him are ready to get engaged, and we just need my dad's blessing. It would always end in an argument, feelings hurt, and no blessings given. They refused to even meet him. I'm still being patient and holding out hope that my dad will come around or something. By mid-2024, my dad hadn't properly spoken to me in like 2 years, but my mom, on the other hand, is a lot more understanding. I wouldn't say she's supportive, but understanding at least. In her words, she just wants to help me avoid an unsuccessful marriage. Because in her mind, interracial marriages just don't work.
Well, that's just full on not true.
I don't know.
Where is she getting
I don't
these
know where
statistics
you
from?
are, but you need to leave.
Yeah.
Wherever your parents are, leave.
Gotta go.
I don't know, man.
Gotta go your own way.
She continued that if I'm so sure about him, though, then she will be by my side, and if it fails, she will be there with open arms. My parents are traditional, but she's always been the more level-headed one between them. Now, the catastrophe.
No.
End of 2024, my sister suddenly stepped in and asked to meet my partner.
Pretty insane that they haven't met him in this whole time.
Well, I mean, not really, given how
Which, I mean,
They're-
yes,
I mean,
not
no,
really
it's-
in terms of
you're
how
right,
they,
though.
but like, you know.
it's
just,
insane.
Yeah.
She's my dad's favorite, and if there's one person that could sway his thoughts, it would be her. This opportunity excited me and my partner because it finally felt like there's light at the end of this tunnel. We've been patient, but the stress of all this was starting to put a strain on our relationship, especially in the last 2 years. But we loved each other a lot and didn't want to let go no matter what, and we would always work things out with communication. Sister and him met up and talked for hours. I wasn't there, but it went well. He left a good impression on her, and she said she'll talk to my dad.
Interesting. She met up alone with your boyfriend?
For
For the first time
guess
you're meeting?
so.
Okay.
Now she's going to report back to father. Him and I discussed beforehand that we don't need to disclose how many times we saw each other or what trips he was involved with. We know that dishonesty and hiding was wrong, but we felt like we were entitled to that privacy at the very least. He's the type that loves honesty and just says, F what people think. But I just didn't believe honesty works with my parents. I think when the reality is that if you're honest with your parents, they like disown you or tell you that your boyfriend is the wrong culture or
Then you don't have
color.
to. You don't owe them all of that information. Yeah, I think there is certain information that you do not owe to people if you know that they're going to react badly.
Especially my dad, because he's someone that's very critical and will shame you for your different values. Now, I thought things would be dandy from here on, but my sister was acting weird and distant, and when I would ask her what's wrong, she would brush it off. 3 weeks of this passed, and it's the new year now. My mom sent me off to do some errands for her at a suspicious time of the day, and I really felt like something was off. I come back home, and my parents and siblings are all in the living room telling me, sit down, we need to talk. My heart dropped. I'm sorry if this is not very detailed, because honestly, the event was traumatizing. They said they hired an investigator to find out everything about my partner and what our relationship entailed. That was a lie, of course. My parents didn't want to admit it was my sister that went through my devices and looked through all my messages and emails and ransacked my entire room. She proudly admitted to it later. From their findings, they concluded that he's a gaslighter, a liar, a manipulator, and that I'm a victim of this relationship. They said they found out about all our dates and trips and are holding him accountable for it. That I was forced to lie and do things against my will, and that him showering me with gifts is just a way to manipulate me. A lot was said, and I just felt embarrassed and humiliated. It was 6 against 1, and I couldn't say anything to defend myself or him. I would have just laughed.
Yeah, you should have LOL'd in their faces, just like your dad did, and been like, "Wow, yeah, okay."
I don't know. I might have even hit the llama.
Gift he gave me, yeah.
I might have done a little spitting.
Manipulative.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, at that point, if you
You're
like
just
are
gross,
just getting
dude.
harassed and you can't reason with these people, then you just walk out.
You're just like, okay, so we can't just be racist. So how do we?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll try to convince her she's in a toxic relationship.
Yeah, how
it's
do we
like,
double
how
down
do
on
we
being
be
really...
racist in a way where she doesn't think we're being racist, but we're still being racist?
I'm just concerned all the time that you've spent together and all the trips that you've gone on and all of the notes that he sent you, and they're all actually just a tactic for him
Yeah.
to trick you
Just you wait.
into forgetting that he is the wrong kind of person.
I guarantee guarantee you the investigator's not even a real investigator. It's like a
No,
family
it
friend.
was your sister.
No. They hired apparently they hired an investigator.
No, it was that's what they said,
Oh,
but it was
just his sister?
lied
That's
because
even
it was the
funnier.
sister who did it.
That's even funnier. Yeah, no, exactly.
He's
And
like, I dabble.
I guarantee you all of them were like, this will surely open OP's eyes.
Crazy.
I guarantee you it did, though.
I felt like I was being stripped bare as they went on and on and on about what they uncovered and what conclusions they drew from them. Him and I are semi-long distance, so most of our talks are through texts. For them to read everything, like my vulnerable side that I only felt comfortable showing him, our intimate conversations, our arguments where we both showed some really ugly sides of us, it just felt so invasive. They claimed he's putting a wedge between me and them and that I was ruining the family peace. They wanted me to feel shame, and it worked. In the end, I was given an ultimatum, and I felt like I had no other choice but to just agree with them and leave it. I was numb. They made me block him, and my sister texted him that we're over and threatened to file a restraining order if he were to come near me. He didn't answer that text.
Good. She texted from your phone or from her phone? Are they like trying to convince your boyfriend that you're saying this?
What's going on? Yeah, no, it was through her phone. I was numb, and I couldn't even cry anymore. I surrendered. I couldn't even fight anymore. At that point, I was just nodding and agreeing to whatever they say. The following days, they were so nice to me because I was a good daughter and I complied with them. And they were the heroes that saved me from a toxic man. But I'm on house arrest and on close watch.
Whoa, that's abusive.
Well, yeah,
That's so funny. All the things that they're accusing your boyfriend of being, they're being.
And
Yeah,
now they're
at this
doing it
point,
to
you're
you.
25 years old. They cannot keep you there. You have to, if you have any means of moving out, staying with your boyfriend for a little bit until you move out, just get out of there because this is terrible. Terrible situation.
I had to hand over my phone when they asked so that they made sure I never
You're
reached out to
25.
him.
This is abusive. This is like kidnapping.
I am. It's coercion.
I mean, they've taken her phone and won't let her leave.
The fact that they were treating her like because she complied to what they wanted and they're still doing this is insane too. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it like this before?
No, I guess when OP was
Very odd.
when they weren't aware.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Your sister's the all-time op.
Yeah, she sucked.
Your sister
Boo.
snitched. Snitch sister.
Schnitzter.
My soulmate was ripped away from me, and I didn't know what to do. 2 or 3 weeks later, I woke up a little from my numbness. I was angry. I was angry at my sister for betraying my trust. I was angry at my father for being so bigoted, and I was angry at all of them for invading my privacy. I was angry at the entire situation because it's not my fault. They never gave me the support and comfort to even be honest with them. I made mistakes, but I blame them for it. I cried to my mom about it, and I told her, you know what? I don't care if you guys think he's a bad person. I would rather learn that on my own than to be forced to leave him and regret it my entire life. They treat me like an effing kid. I told her I will always be angry at them for what they did. She urged me to talk to my dad again and tell him what I told her. She told me I should just proceed with marrying my partner against their wishes and accept any consequences. She told me she'll be by my side. Before I talked to my dad, I sent him a letter through text. We're both non-confrontational people, so I felt like this would be a good way to express my feelings. I apologized deeply for everything. I clarified I never meant to disrespect him or my family members. I put anger aside for this letter because anger doesn't work with a stubborn man like my dad. I tried to be vulnerable. I tried to tell him that all I want is their support and trust in me. My dad didn't give an answer to that letter, but he forwarded it to my sister, and she blew up on me over text, called me a manipulator for sending the letter. Her words were so nasty, she had never made me cry as much as she did back then. Your dad's a little coward.
And also, OP was like, yeah, my dad's not very confrontational. I'm like, they literally locked you in their, like, they put you on house arrest, took your phone. Like, that's pretty confrontational.
I don't know. It's not, why would he have to confront you when he has your sister as an attack
That's true.
dog?
Yeah. He, like, sends your sister at you. He goes, get her.
My dad came to my room afterwards to talk, or rather, yell at me. I had never cried so much. Whoever that was in front of me wasn't my dad. I never knew he could be so cruel. He threatened to leave my mom and tear this family apart if I chose to be with my partner.
Okay. Oh, wow. I thought that marriages when you were with the same ethnicity were successful.
That's the weirdest threat too. He's like,
I'll divorce your mom and marry a person who's not of my ethnicity if you leave. And she's like, do you
want to do that?
It's like the guy, like, he's like,
No.
he's got the hammer and he's like, I swear, I'll break my TV. I'll break all the kitchen appliances. And it's just like,
Wait,
That's you would be doing that.
Yeah, that would be kind of worse for you and doesn't really affect me.
Why do I have a little frog in my throat right now?
Yeah, I feel like it's like you got like the villain and like he's tied a bunch of people to train tracks and he's like, I've tied my own mother to the train tracks. And the hero's like, what?
Why would you do such
Why
a
would
thing?
you do that?
Unless you stop it.
You're the hero.
My mother! Save her!
Save her. Do it now,
Yeah,
please.
It just goes from like the meh to like just please, please save her.
Please save my mama. I didn't think this through.
I am broken and numb, and I've never felt so alone. I don't know what to do. Advice, please. It sounds like your mom would be better off not being married to this guy as well.
I think that you need to get out of here. You need to get out of this place and honestly maybe go no contact with a lot of these people, if not all.
Agreed. Educational Sugar 1551. Go be with your partner or you will be miserable for the rest of your life. You are an adult. Leave. If your partner loves you, he'll accept you with open arms. You can make your own family. Jubang Yengan says, yeah, sorry, OP, but why in the living F are you still living with these people and letting them control you to the extent where they force you to block him? Are you 15? No, you're a grown woman who's taken holidays with him and gone on dates and studied. Grow a spine and pull up your big girl pants. You have two very obvious choices here. 1, live a life of newfound freedom, healthy, supportive love, and happiness. Accept that his family adores you and will support you. Marry the man you love and see just how amazing your life can be. 2, stay miserable, controlled, mistreated, belittled, and constantly stuck in an impossible effort for your a-hole family and their approval. Be disrespected. Keep making lousy, pathetic excuses for them and live knowing your life isn't your own. It's theirs. Lose the man you love and the happiness you felt. I don't know about you, but I would choose option 1. Oh, this commenter's a little cheeky, huh?
I don't know about you, but option 1 sounds pretty nice
I
to me.
don't know about you, but I think I'd choose the one where I don't have the worst life ever. I know this is blunt, but even the way you've written this entire post, you know your family are pretty much monsters. Be your own human. Make your own choice. I hope the next post I see is about how happy you are with your partner and your freedom. Not another pathetic post trying to excuse your family and their monstrous behavior. Dogs Ducks says, I just read on another post about a toxic relationship that there are victims and there are volunteers. OP was a victim for many years. It seems like she was trapped in bigotry and racism, veiled under the guise of religion and culture. Pretty much every major religion is centered around the concept of loving one another, acceptance, growth, and inclusion. It's toxic, greedy, and fixed-minded people that choose to use it as a weapon. So she's 25, well on her way to 30, and still speaks like a small child about this stronghold of her family's judgment. OP, at this point, it sounds like you're volunteering to remain enmeshed. To be honest, everyone reading this knows what the right thing to do is, and so do you. But the way you speak sounds like you're just not going to break the cycle of abuse and you'll continue to volunteer to remain under their toxic thumbs. But I truly, deeply hope that you do not. Life is so much better when we have our own.
Good comment.
All but a crazy cat lady says, has OP even talked to her ex in 6 months? Does he know what happened? Has he moved on? And is he willing to accept her toxic, controlling family and her weak, spineless nature, even if he's still single?
Dang.
Dude.
I didn't like this comment as much as the last one.
Well, some commenters just like, well, clearly didn't grow up in this kind of environment, but it's
Yeah,
like when you're
incredibly
brought up like
toxic.
that,
Yeah.
it's hard to get out.
Yeah, I feel like when those are the cultural and also just like religious norms that you are raised in, it's super hard to go against them because you're raised that this is like everything. You have to honor this. And if you don't, then you're cast out and you lose the love of your family.
Personally, I think OP's ex dodged a bullet. Well, a whole family of them. Wow. OP replies, says, nah, I could never do 6 months without him. I reached out to him maybe like 3 days later, but you guys are right. I don't deserve to keep him by my side.
Whoa. Don't listen to the commenters. Don't let everyone win.
We've had that conversation many times, and I've always told him he doesn't deserve to deal with this, but he's willing to wait and fight this with me. So no, he's not my ex. We're still in contact, getting therapy, and making plans to get out of this. Thank you guys for the harsh words. I do need to hear them. And there's an update from 2 months later.
I hope you're out of this.
I think they are.
Yeah, my dream is that you're You've gone no contact with your family, and you're living with your boyfriend, and you're planning marriage.
There's an update.
Woo.
2 months later. When I wrote that first post, I was emotional and depressed, so reading it now, even I can sense the oh, poor me tone in it. January me was probably expecting lots of sympathy or whatever, but you guys were harsh, and to be honest, I needed to hear that. You were completely right. While what my family did was evil and wrong, my life is in my hands, and it's my fault for not standing up for myself and my partner sooner. I can't keep expecting things to be done for me. I wanted to make this post to clarify some things and update you about what has happened since January. It may not be the most satisfying update, but I have at least changed a lot since then. First of all, I am still in contact with my partner. I don't blame you for assuming otherwise, since that post was uploaded months later, so it was pretty confusing. But when my family made me block him everywhere and took my devices and basically threatened me not to talk to him, that lasted all of 3 days. It was in the middle of the night. I was crying hard because I missed him, but also because I was here alone, extremely heartbroken, just wishing someone would hold me and show real care towards what I was going through. I realized, wow, my family really doesn't give an F about me.
It sucks, but I'm glad that you're having that realization, because
Yep.
I think it is necessary for you to get out of here.
They could have at least checked up on me, but when they did, it was more of a just making sure you still know your place type of check-in. So I reached out to him and told him everything. There was a lot of I told you so from him, and I really do give him a lot of credit for putting up with my BS. My entire life, I was trained like a monkey, as one of the comments said, to be obedient of minimal reward. I thought if I was gentle with my approach and still did everything they wanted, I would get what I wanted in the end, because I earned it, right? No. And this is not a unique experience, unfortunately. This is so common with people in many cultures because parents believe they're entitled to make choices for their adult children. My partner was understanding and helped me finally see that the environment I'm living in is toxic and harmful. No amount of obedience and kindness is going to make them respect me. I've been getting therapy for months now, and shocker, it really helps. I would always question what I did wrong and how I could approach them differently to get better results. I would always question why my sister betrayed me like that. I would always question why my father told me I deserved to be hurt. I had so many other questions, but I've let go of caring about any sort of answer now. I've let go of the idea that I need approval from them. I've let go of ever having a civil conversation with them. I've let go of any expectations.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think once you do that, once you stop expecting things from people who will never give you those things, you lose that kind of, it's like the hope that unalives you kind of feeling, where you're just hoping for something that's never going to happen.
Also, OP started off with this update saying it's not going to be a great update, or it's not like a big update. This is a huge update. This is all positive.
It's a good update.
Yeah, you're still with your partner. You're cutting off your family pretty much. Or at least you realize your family sucks. You're going to therapy. I mean,
yeah, I think realizing that about your family, I think hopefully brings you some measure of like peace.
Yeah.
I still live with them, unfortunately. I don't talk to my dad, and I don't talk to my sister.
Damn, that sucks.
Well,
yeah. Imagine that war zone.
Oh
Man, home is not where the heart is.
no.
There. Boy.
I keep things cordial with my mom, but I don't trust confiding in her anymore because at the end of the day, she feels the need to side with her husband. And by the way, you can always side with us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime, and you can listen to a endless river of juicy stories. And we have a little bit left in this story. Yeah, I would just say work on moving out, finding a way for you and your partner to be closer together.
I think, I think that you have done a lot of the big, you've made a lot of big moves just in your life and in your, like, emotionally, with your parents, with your relationships. I think now it's time to move physically away from these people that suck.
You've taken major steps, huge steps. You got to take one giant leap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard because
It's scary.
it's hard, it's scary, but you got to do that giant leap.
It do be scary out there.
Or at least progressing to make that giant leap to get out of that place.
It gets scary out here.
Mm-hmm.
Her 60-year-old man-child of a husband has been verbally abusing her for years and throwing tantrums anytime things didn't go his way. Instead of making him aware of himself, my sister and mom just choose to give him what he wants, no matter who it hurts.
Well, maybe
yeah.
maybe now that you're deciding to stay with your boyfriend, he'll leave your mom.
Yeah, hopefully he'll implode the entire family unit and it'll be like, that was all my daughter's fault, actually.
Yeah.
It was my daughter's fault. Boo-hoo. I still have 2 years of education with no income, and I need this degree for my career. It wouldn't make sense to drop out temporarily, but I'm working on trying to find something on the side to depend on, and I will move out as soon as I can. To everyone saying he should leave me, I agree. Any man would've. Good thing he's an angel.
Aww.
Stop it, I'm gonna throw up.
I love that.
Disgusting.
It's so
Adorable.
disgustingly cute.
And I can't sing that song Lips of an Angel because that's actually about cheating on your partner.
Yikes.
But,
Janny Elliott says, I'm sorry this entire time she was saying that he's not confrontational. Where in the story did he not seem confrontational? That was my point. She was like, yeah, me and my dad are both not confrontational. He's been confrontational every step of the way.
maybe she just, like, said that because that's what she's been told.
Yeah, he
It's
always
like he
says,
says
oh,
he's
I'm not very
non-confrontational."
confrontational. But we got another story, folks.
We do.
And we're going to get into it. My parents treated me like a servant, and I've had enough.
I'm not your errand boy, Mom.
My family sucks. I, 17 male, turn 18 in 2 weeks, and I'm getting the heck out of here as soon as the clock strikes midnight. My parents have extreme bias towards my younger brothers, 16 and 15 male. It's been like this my whole life, and I have no idea why. By the way, this comes from Purple Indian Frog 379, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sam.
And I'm Riley.
And I'm Lilo.
But we're here to give you good advice, Goofly, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. Opie says, I've been the one who had to do all the chores in the house while also being forced to play every single sport I possibly could, to the point where my schedule was packed 365 days a year. My father told me it would teach me to be a real man, but my brothers never had to do any of that crap. They're both lazy as heck, sitting around playing video games all day and night. They miss school at least 30% of the year and are constantly spoiled rotten by my parents. They already have thousands of dollars from birthdays, Christmas, and other holidays. As soon as I turned 12, I was told I would no longer be receiving any gifts from my parents other than bare essentials. I had to pay for my phone and any other expenses I wanted and could never ask for anything. I couldn't even own a phone or anything really special for myself until I was 16 because I couldn't find any jobs that paid decent money. My parents also expect me to take care of my younger brothers when I'm an adult. Both of them have decided they won't be going to college and don't plan on working a day in their lives. My father told me, we kept you alive. You owe it to us. F you. I'm leaving a nasty letter on the table when I leave and changing my phone number, emails, and everything. They will never be able to contact me no matter how hard they try. I know my younger brothers are going to be screwed for life since they have zero experience surviving in the real world, but I don't care. That's my parents' burden now. I hope they go broke funding my brother's lifestyles, and I hope they lose everything. I have no sympathy for these people, and I will never feel bad, no matter what happens to them. The only thing I owe to my parents is the fact that because of their crappy treatment over the years, I am well more than capable of surviving on my own. I'll be going to college to study finance in Virginia. They have no idea I've been accepted to any college, never even asked. And I'm also very physically fit from playing 6 sports a year, but the trauma will never go away. They took away my entire childhood, and I will never forgive them for that. They can all go F themselves. And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, it's very strange that they treat you so different, but you have no explanation as to why. Other times I've heard stories like this. It was because the child did not actually belong to one of the parents, usually the father. Ever had a DNA test? Comment 2 says, leave, cut them off, and live your best life. Counseling might be a good idea so that the trauma and hurt of your childhood does not fester. You deserved a happy and loving childhood like every child. Good luck, OP. And comments that seemed relevant to OP's update. Comment 3 says, make sure your parents are not on your bank account. Super important. Yeah. Bank accounts made for minors generally require an adult to also be on the account. This adult can do whatever they want with the funds in the account. When I was in the Army, there were quite a few people that checked their bank account after basic training to discover that the last 2 months of pay were stolen by their parents because they still had mom and dad on their bank account. Comment 4, also make sure you have your critical documents, birth certificate, social security card, all of that info. And you should probably buy a freeze on your credit. Your parents sound like scumbags. Watch out. In order to find runaway kids, some parents falsely accuse them of stealing something to put the police on their heads. Comment 6 says, happiest birthday. Today's your birthday, mate. Oh, don't forget everything you need. Pack up and go, go, go. Leap of faith. And there is an update, folks.
Okay.
I'm happy to report that I am officially gone. The last 2 weeks after I made this post have been crazy stressful, but I'll sum them up here. I changed my number a few days ago by calling my SIM card provider. Then I got a copy of my birth certificate since I don't know where the original was. I couldn't just ask my parents, and I also made sure to check that my bank account was secure and not shared with my parents. This is so impressive to be doing all of this at 17.
Yeah, great job, dude.
Good hustle. Good hustle.
Also, yeah, social security number? Did you say that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, you got that? Okay, good.
I purchased a plane ticket to Dulles International Airport in Virginia, just outside of where I'll be attending college in Fairfax. Finally, I called one of my cousins who I'm very close with and asked him to please pick me up at around 12:30 a.m. last night. He agreed with my decision to leave and told me he was proud of me for taking action to improve my life. If you have a good relationship with your cousin, I'm wondering what the other familial relationships are like. Because why is anyone kind of letting this happen?
Yeah, like, do you got any aunts or uncles that are able to support in some sort of way so you have like, some sort of family?
Yeah.
Because I'm a big family guy.
Me too.
And it's hard what you're doing, and I feel for you.
But having that support system,
it's definitely helpful.
Super, especially because you're moving.
Yeah.
I packed my stuff up after everyone had gone to sleep and waited. I decided to keep my note short and sweet. All I wrote down was that I was moving to go to college in California and that I was never coming back. And that was a lie because OP's not going to California.
Yeah. Way to
throw him off your scent.
Throw him off the trail, yeah.
Last night, my cousin picked me up. We went to the police station where I gave them my proper identification and informed them that I am not missing and am leaving on my own accord now that I'm 18. They told me they'll keep it in mind and will watch out for that potential call in the next few days. I got a few hours of sleep at my cousin's and then flew out of New Orleans International at 6 a.m. I am now sitting in my college dorm, 950 miles from home, and I've never been happier in my life. I can't wait to meet new people and finally enjoy my youth. Thank you to everyone who gave me great advice on here and commented their support. I didn't expect this post to take off like it did, but I'm happy my story has affected so many. And there is a second update.
Okay.
But yeah, OP's doing great.
Yeah, dude, super proud of you.
Yeah, I mean,
Great
what
work.
a huge move, huge step in your life. I mean, just in general, to go to college is already.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations on getting into college. And
But then to like completely leave behind your family and also have to go to the police.
Yeah.
And get all of these documents that normally your family would take care of. Huge. Very big. Update 2. Dang, this post took off again these past 2 days. My phone has been blowing up with demands for an update, so I shall deliver. Life has been good. I've been in contact with the cousin who helped me and also a few other family members from back home. He said that my mother came to their house the day after I left to talk to my aunt about me leaving. She cried and gave my aunt this whole sob story about how she can't believe I would abandon them. And my aunt told her maybe she shouldn't have treated me so horribly throughout my whole life. This caused a huge fight and ended with my mom being thrown out of their house. So it seems me leaving has caused pretty much the uproar I imagined. I've been doing well, met plenty of new people and made friends via classes and dorm neighbors. I'm in a better mental state than I've been in a very long time. I feel so relieved and it just feels like a huge weight is lifted off my shoulder. It feels so good coming on here and reading all the support and positive comments I'm receiving. I'm really grateful for this community, and I will continue to post updates. And we're just going to get right into this third update.
Okay.
I waited a long time between updates to really let my life unfold so I could fill you guys in on a lot. Things have been great. I went back into my hometown for Thanksgiving and Christmas to spend time with my aunts, uncles, and cousins. Literal blocks away from my parents' house, but they are not welcome at those events anymore, so I wasn't worried. They still don't know where I am or what I'm up to, and have apparently given up on trying, which I'm perfectly happy about. By the way, you can be perfectly happy listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Just to bring it on home.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you had to find the support
Yeah.
here. We're happy to give that support. That support should have came from your family.
Yeah.
And
I'm worried about your brothers.
yeah,
Because, I mean, even though they were quote unquote like favored,
yeah,
they weren't really, you know, they haven't learned any life skills.
yeah. They're not
Yeah.
any better for the way that your parents have treated them.
No.
But right now you're taking care of number one.
Yeah.
Which is, it's your prerogative. It's what you gotta
Mhm.
do.
You gotta do it.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
And there
all
you
I
go.
got.
But OP finishes, college has been great. Made lots of new friends and have been keeping the grades up, 3.9 GPA. I love my new life, honestly. I never went to therapy or anything, despite numerous suggestions from some of you. But I feel like I've done well enough without it. I've learned in these months how resilient I really am. I got 2 jobs on the side at different restaurants in the town around campus, mostly dishwashing and working on salads.
Salad bar.
Sure.
Yeah.
Simple stuff, but I'm making enough side cash to provide for myself. Since I got a free ride to JMU, I don't have to worry about a college savings account or anything, so that's a huge plus.
That's incredible. Free ride.
Yeah, I mean, you did so many sports. I would hope that you got something from all that.
Yeah, or even academic if he's
Yeah.
like 3.9.
Yeah, he was probably doing well back
Yeah.
in high school. But that is the end of that story. A mom tried to blame me for protecting her kid from a stranger.
Very ungrateful, Mom.
I'm honestly not sure what's going on. Abby is my daughter's best friend, and Amy is her mom. For background, these 2 girls have been best friends since kindergarten. They have celebrated birthdays, Christmas, and millions of sleepovers together. And Abby spends so much time at my home, I even got my daughter a trundle bed for when she spends the night. By the way, this comes from Muted Remote 179, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Vincent.
And I'm Keon dressed as Lilo.
And we're here to make funny times and funny
Yes.
advice for you. But we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. But OP says, now to the story. This started last Monday. Amy works the night shift and sometimes her mom can't watch Abby. Amy asked me to watch Abby Friday night and that she would pick her up Saturday afternoon. I have no problem watching Abby. She's a sweetheart. So I agreed. This is also a regular thing for us. Abby spends at least one Friday of the month at my home. Well, fast forward to Friday, and there haven't been any updates to change the sleepover plans. Friday comes, and I pick the girls up. We have a normal sleepover day, watching movies, eating snacks, ordering pizza, etc. Well, the girls are in their room, and I'm in my room when my Ring camera gives me a notification that someone is at my door. I look at my camera, and it's a guy that I don't recognize. It's 9:15, so not extremely late, but I still didn't physically answer my door. I responded on my camera asking who he was and what he wanted. The mystery guy told me that he was Amy's boyfriend, and he was here to get Abby. These are my issues with that. I don't know this man. I didn't know Amy was even dating a guy, especially not serious enough for him to show up unannounced at my home. And when I showed Abby the guy and asked if she knew him, she just said, "That's my mom's friend that comes over when I'm getting on the bus." I asked her if she knew his name or anything else, and Abby said no. At this point, I have already texted and called Amy several times to try and ask her, but I am not getting any response. I tell the guy using my camera that Amy isn't responding to me and that I need her permission before I give him her child. The mystery guy tries to convince me, saying that he was supposed to watch Abby at first, but something came up. He ended up free now and wanted to get her. I still expressed that without a text, call, or something from Amy, I would not allow Abby to leave my home. Plus, I was told that Abby was supposed to be with her grandmother before the plans changed to me. The mystery guy got upset, hit my door, then left. I genuinely thought this was the right thing to do. For me, this was a stranger that Abby didn't know asking to get Abby at 9 o'clock without having any proof Amy told him to. Well, that was the wrong thing to do, apparently. Saturday morning comes, and I'm making up breakfast when somebody starts banging on my door. I open the door, and Amy comes in cussing and screaming the whole 9 yards. She's accusing me of kidnapping her child, saying she'll report me to CPS, and a lot of threats. Essentially, to Amy, I was supposed to send her daughter with a man that Abby, her daughter, and I didn't know. According to her, her boyfriend, whom she's been dating for 4 months, should be allowed to randomly come over and get Abby. I may have reacted poorly because I laughed. By this point, Amy woke up the girls and they were watching her yell while I laughed and got breakfast ready. I questioned her, why didn't you text me back anytime last night? You've been off work for a while. How did you just now realize that your daughter was still here? Why didn't you text or call me telling me about the change of plans? How was I supposed to know some guy was going to get Abby if you told me your mom was supposed to watch her before me? Amy's responses were basically that she didn't have to report every guy she effed to me, and I agree. But if you have a stranger coming to my home to get your child that is in my care, I deserve to at least know someone is coming. She left after this. Now, Abby has told my daughter that Amy says they can't be friends until I apologize. I'm torn because part of me wants my daughter to have good friendships, but I honestly don't understand how I'm even close to being wrong. I'm still trying to decide if I need to apologize. And edit, I decided to message Amy to try and meet and talk. I don't want something to be going on with Abby or even Amy that I'm missing. And there are some comments, but do you have any thoughts?
I wonder, because there was no problems before this. I
No,
wonder
everything was fine.
what the relationship between this guy and your friend is. Because
Yeah.
it sounds like he went back to her. There might be some issues with that relationship that
Well, if he's
made
banging
her
on the door.
Yeah, if he's banging on the door, also if a dude's banging at your door, it kind of showing like violent tendencies.
And that's what I'm thinking.
which is a big red flag. Like, make sure your friend is okay.
Yeah.
That's my big thing.
If you're able to look in it at all. But
Mm-hmm.
I do also think, I think OP is worried about separating her kid from Abby,
Mm-hmm.
which is a valid worry. But I also think, you don't really want to hang around, like have your kid hang around, not only Amy, but also if Amy's going to have boyfriend around.
Yeah.
You can't, I wouldn't feel comfortable sending my kid over to their house anymore.
No, absolutely not. Especially like, I don't know, her saying, I don't need to report every guy
Yeah.
I F to you. Like, how many guys, like,
That's what I'd be like. If I'm sending my kid over to you,
mm-hmm.
I would be worried about that.
Yeah.
Comment 1 says, I feel so bad for the kids. That stranger at your door sounded completely shady, and only a fool would send Abby off with him. She didn't even know his name. His persistence makes it worse. OP replied, honestly, I didn't add this because it sounded crazy, and I thought it was my memory making it worse. But when I said no, and it was a clear no, it's like his demeanor changed. Like when he first came, my answer was no, but if Amy would have called me and said, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I'm sorry, I would have sent Abby. But after he hit my door and muttered, it was like, I don't know how to explain it. Kind of like a scary movie when they reveal who the villain is to the audience. I know that sounds crazy. And comment 2 says, Amy is the a-hole here. All she had to do was apologize for not telling you her boyfriend would possibly be picking up the kid. The fact that he got mad and started acting out at your doorstep is seriously concerning and should concern Amy about how he acted. Honestly, you've been a doormat for this woman, giving her free babysitting duties, etc. for a long time, and she's become an entitled POS. Don't worry, next time she needs someone to watch her daughter, and she'll come back and pretend nothing happened. I suggest you distance yourself from someone who threatened to call the cops and CPS on you for doing the smart thing and not handing a 10-year-old to a stranger. OP replies, I honestly helped out because I understand how hard it is to be a single mom. It took me a long time to get my footing in the world, and honestly, I have several people keeping me afloat. I honestly needed to hear that I wasn't crazy. Comment 3 says, you're not crazy, you did the right thing. But are you sure everything's okay with Amy? Does she usually act like this? Maybe there were consequences for her not allowing her daughter to be taken. I'm not suggesting apologizing to her, but maybe once she's calmed down, you should check in to see if all is okay. She might see logic now. Separating victims from their support system, i.e. you, and pulling control moves like demanding to look after their kids would be red flags for a harmful partner in my book. OP says, honestly, your response seems the most fitting. I've known Amy for years, and I wouldn't say we're just best friends, but we see each other multiple times a month. We never had any issue close to this. Comment 4 says you did not ruin anything. Amy is in the wrong here. The fact that she never got back to you until the next morning is so crazy. I am sorry your daughter might be losing a close friend, but I don't trust the other mom. If your daughter was sleeping at her house and the same situation happened, she probably would give that person your kid. Yeah, I mean, that's
yeah.
another concerning thing.
Like, if that's the standard she's expecting from, like, imagine if you wake up and your kid was staying at their place and now they're in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
I would, yeah, that's very concerning.
Yeah. You did nothing wrong, and I hope your daughter sees that. OP says, I'm honestly so happy that our schedules always made it so that sleepovers happened at my house. I am worried about Abby now, though. How could Abby trust a man she's only known for 4 weeks with her child or my address? By the way, you can trust that we have full episodes of stories just like this for you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio. Just search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story, but any final thoughts or advice for OP?
I mean, yeah, it's tough that your daughter's going to be losing a friend.
Yeah, but
also you need to protect her.
Mm-hmm.
Check in on your friend.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, this guy is sending up a lot of red flags.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously do it tactfully when they're open to being talked to, but
yeah, I think giving it at least a couple of days before we broach the subject.
Yeah.
But just asking like, hey, what, you doing okay? Not to mention his reaction when you wouldn't let him take her. He was pretty upset about her. Comment replying to OP says, right, a person thinking rationally would take 10 seconds and think, oh, hey, Amy forgot to mention I'd be picking Abby up before the end of the planned sleepover. And I've never met OP. I can see how weird this might look. Then he'd say something like, oh, that's no problem. Guess there was a miscommunication somewhere along the line there. Sorry. Hope you and the kids have a good evening. He might wave. This in and of itself sounds sus. And that's it. After decades of neglect, my mom suddenly wants to be my friend.
Okay, Mom.
In an attempt to give some context, I, 28 female, was an baby between my parents who had a turbulent relationship on a good day. They haven't been together for any of my life and do not like each other. Mom, 50s female, was a heavy drinker the entirety of my growing up and beyond. Pair this with some self-absorbed tendencies, verbal abuse, and she's not my favorite parent. By the way, this comes from El Friday, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Vincent.
And I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says she missed a lot of school and sport events because she either forgot, was wasted, or some combo of both. And also probably a trigger warning for child neglect and maybe alcoholism. Lots of other parents giving me rides home because she'd throw a fit if dad gave me a ride home because it wasn't his time. She didn't like that I wasn't stereotypically girly and wasn't subtle about it. She married and had my half-brother with a not nice man. He was great with me until he realized I'd never seen him as more important than my bio dad. Through college, I tried calling weekly, but despite being a stay-at-home mom, I'm not knocking this, she never had the time to talk or was too tired. So naturally, I stopped calling. She can call when she has time. Skipping over a lot, he and my brother are verbally harmful, really into pew-pews, and according to my mom, also physically harmful. I've seen enough to believe her to an extent, but history with her also has a lot of false accusations and making up stuff that I was there for. I was wary enough that I'd lock my bedroom door to sleep when I'd visit for holidays. About a year ago, she finally left him, has her own apartment, and is in the middle of a very rough divorce. She's been sober for a year and change, but I've been through enough that I simply don't trust her to remain that way. I am so happy she left him. I'm sorry she's going through a rough time, but I'm tired of being her crutch. She started calling more 1 to 2 times a week instead of maybe once a month. One of the times she brought up that I don't call her anymore, and I said something like, I don't really call anyone, which then came, well, I'm your mother, so you can call me. I've had her on an information diet for years because I don't trust her to respect boundaries. She has made fun of any that I tried to set, like, don't call me at 6 a.m. unless it's an emergency. One of the early phone calls included an apology for anything she did that hurt me while she was drinking. No real thought into what she did, just that blanket statement. In her mind, that's absolved her of everything, and we should be a regular Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. I just got a text that she wants to have a good chat because she really feels our relationship could be better. I get a sense of dread every time she calls. It's usually just bland small talk, but she's been pushing more and more for me to schedule a visit. Pandemic has been a handy excuse. She's been better than she was while I was growing up, so I feel like I should give her a chance. But I feel like I'm just repeating the same cycle we've been on for my entire adulthood. Trust her to be my mom, works for like 6 months, get blown up at because I don't want to take her recommendation for a trash can, or get a call from a family member about her being on a bender. Get hurt. Personal life suffers because it triggers trust issues and anxiety. But she's also in a really low place right now with the divorce and having minimal contact with my brother too. How do I tell her that the fact that we're still talking is about as good as she's going to get? And we've got some replies from OP. OP says, I've been working on a response that balances blunt truth with not putting the explaining how her actions have affected me on my shoulders and keep focus on the boundaries. I've made a list and am making a point of repeating this isn't up for debate or compromise, and point blank that she has to respect what I'm asking for. Emphasis on respecting when I say any variance of no. I'm calling her tonight, so fingers crossed. I'm definitely worried that even if she does respond well to me, being honest with her, it's just her doing what she needs to keep me around while she needs support. I want so badly to trust that she's better, but I don't know what would have to happen for me to do that. I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but glad you've been able to maintain distance. I think I'm willing to give her a call, but to your point, I don't know that I want a conversation. Other comments have definitely given me a lot to think about in terms of what exactly I'll say, but I don't think I'm interested in hearing her side of things. Just, this is where our relationship is. This is very concise reason why. This is what I'm willing to put in. And like you said, if she gets upset, that's my cue to mute her. I needed to hear that. That's something I've been trying to avoid. I've been trying to give her the benefit of the doubt that she was blacked out, didn't remember, but it doesn't change the impact of her actions on me. I almost did cut contact a few years ago, but I was still trying to have a relationship with my little brother. So much for that. I think there's part of me that wants to confront her, have her react poorly, and have a good reason to finally cut her out and have a stricter low contact boundary. On the other side, if she does react well, I don't know that I would trust it to be genuine and not just her doing whatever it takes to make me stick around while she needs emotional support. Then it's just more walking on eggshells. I had to type that out to realize you're absolutely right. This could be a fruitless conversation that just cost me a lot of emotional labor. I'm sorry you've experienced, I think to the commenter, similar. And OP responds to another comment saying, yeah, I don't know that a good response from her would even really bring peace. The more I think about it, the more I've realized it's more about me being able to get it off my chest and not hiding. I think I'll at least have that regardless of her response. And there is an update. But what are your thoughts? And Dakota, what are your thoughts? Put it on you guys.
Yeah, that's man, that's tough. But also, yeah, it sounds like you're ready to move on past this relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
That, and you're free to do that. If you want to have this like talk with her, I think you're right in like having your set boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, even though like she might be apologizing for stuff that she did when she was blacked out, that's no excuse because she still got blacked out. It's tough, but you don't really owe her much.
No, I do think it would be probably, it might be good to have that conversation just for you to get stuff off your chest. But I think going into it with, it's hard not to have hope, but
Yeah.
trying to go into it with just, you don't owe her anything. You can have this conversation and still not need to have a relationship with her.
Yeah.
It can just be like,
If you need to get some stuff off your
Yeah.
chest, get some closure off stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, but don't let her like hamstring you into anything
no.
that you're not wanting to do.
Exactly. But update 3 days later. I guess I wanted to give some of you told you so rights. I was able to use bits and pieces from almost every comment, from preparing myself for it to not go well / needing to hang up on her, to making sure I didn't fall into the trap of explaining and listing out past incidents. I basically said the following. I'm happy for the list of accomplishments she had. Unfortunately, none of that erases 20 plus years of lack of support and actions by you that clearly indicated I wasn't a priority. I'm not looking for explanations nor apologies. I've worked hard to make my peace with it, and I've worked hard to get our relationship to a point where I can maintain my mental health and have you in my life. So when you say it could be better, in my mind, it's right where it needs to be. If that's to change at all, I have some boundaries that need to be followed. List of boundaries, some specific, but 2 big ones of respect, my boundaries, and respect when I say no. If you want us to talk more, I'm happy to pick up the phone. You have every right to ask things from me, but have to respect when the answer isn't what you want to hear. That's all the things that OP, I think, has brought forth to their mom. First question was if I thought our relationship was better before my stepdad came around. No, says OP. Next, OP's mom asked for examples of when she didn't support me. I told her she'd have to do some reflecting because she was there for the same events I was, and it's not fair to me to ask for that emotional labor. She said she had done lots of reflection and couldn't see it until stepdad came into the picture. She pushed a couple more times for examples. Is it 'cause I missed some events your dad was at? She stopped when I called her out the second time for deflecting responsibility for her actions. I told her multiple times during this portion that she doesn't have to remember or own up to anything, but she does have to live with the consequences. Her last question was, is there any way we could ever push past this all? I told her this is what past this all looks like. She pushed back a little bit, but when it was clear that I wasn't moving an inch, the call ended with, well, thank you. You've given me a lot to think about. She's just like, can we just forget about this?
She needs to do some more work.
Yeah,
She needs to-
tons more.
Yeah, and especially can we just push past
Yeah.
it? That there's no easy way outs in life, guys. You gotta go through it.
Yeah, gotta go through it, can't go around it.
Do the work. It's worth it.
None of her questions or responses were any indication. She was worried that I was hurt. She was trying to find justifications I might listen to, anything to poke holes. There was part of me that wondered if she always recognized how much neglect there was and just didn't want to face it. But claiming lots of reflection and not having a single incident come to mind that didn't involve blaming someone else answered that question. And I would blame you guys if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think OP's in the right here.
Yeah, I think OP has answered kind of and approached this so maturely.
Incredibly.
And it's clear that you've done a lot of work on yourself to put up those boundaries, and I think that's all you can do. Yeah.
And your mother needs to do some more work, and
Yes.
once she's able to like see what she did and like truly understand that, and maybe I don't know if they're clean or not.
Yeah.
Maybe getting clean is part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe, but that's completely up to you.
Yeah.
If you want to open up that channel at all. But
Absolutely. It's like even if she does do all of that work and comes out of it a better person, maybe that relationship is always going to be a little bit, fractured from what she did before. But we've got a little bit left to this story. While she was calm, while she tried to respond, her tone was very tense. Worst case here, she continues to try to push boundaries, and I cut off contact, and it's one less stress in life. Best case, she respects them, and it's one less stress in my life. I know this is likely a case of she'll respect them until she doesn't. The important thing for me was that I was upfront with her and set clear boundaries. I've done my due diligence to telling her how our relationship could change. I used change instead of improve very intentionally with my mother. I'm relieved. Ball's in her court, and I have some answers. Thanks again for the advice, sharing your own experiences and encouragement. It gave me the confidence and a plan for that phone call.
My obsessed friend keeps harassing me.
Leave me alone!
About a month ago, I, 36 female, realized that every time I saw a post from her, 37 female, it made me upset. We don't even live in the same state anymore, but I don't want her to have this kind of control over my emotions anymore. By the way, this comes from Could This Be the One? And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK stories on subreddit.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Riley.
Did you forget your name for a second there?
I was going to say I was Keon. I'm Riley. I'm not Keon.
I'm Sophia.
I think I'm Keon.
There we go.
And OP says, background. We worked together about 10 years ago for 2 years. When we met, she was incredibly negative and controlling, constantly telling me how to make decisions in my life, like not getting a dog because I wouldn't care for it properly. Well, my pupper will be 7 this Halloween.
Joke's on you.
At the same time, She seemed to idolize me and declare I was her best friend almost immediately.
Interesting dynamic there.
After knowing her for only 2 weeks, she became upset and started crying because I didn't invite her to a girls' night with my friends I'd known since high school. She said she didn't have many friends and thought I was really awesome. She begged me to invite her to everything I did and would bring up any instance of me doing something without her, making me feel guilty about
I
it.
know someone like this.
Do we know them?
I don't know.
Wait, can you mute her mics?
No, it's fine.
I
It's
want to
just-
know.
You don't know.
I thought, okay, everyone struggles sometimes. Maybe she's just looking for friends. About 3 months after meeting her, she started dating a guy from work. Cool, I thought. Perhaps it's the confidence boost she needed to feel better about herself. Fast forward a year and a half, my friend insisted I be a bridesmaid, one of 2 at her wedding. Fine, she and her new husband bought a house 1.5 miles away from mine, loudly proclaiming there will be much better houses, but we got this one because we're so close now.
To you guys? Why are they trying to be so close to you?
Now we're so close to you. We love you. OMG,
Mm-mm.
Josh. Okay. 6 months later, my fiance cheated on me.
Yikes.
I left him. Sold the house.
Good.
My friend was furious with me, screaming that I abandoned her and was an awful friend.
Girl, Opie was cheated on.
She said she never would have bought that house if she'd known I was going to move,
Why are you buying houses based off of OP's whereabouts?
and that there was no point in her living there now, and complained that we aren't 2 couples anymore.
Dude, at that point, I would cut her off. Like, if she said that, I'd be like, oh,
Girl, do you understand
you gotta live your own life.
what we're getting at here?
What's going on?
About a year later, I was healthy and happy when I met some awesome Brazilian man. Ooh la la. We dated and eventually moved farther away. She moved to another state. When I decided to marry my Brazilian, I stupidly let her guilt trip me into making her my bridesmaid again.
Girl, you can't let these type of people guilt trip you into inviting them to things.
You didn't learn it the first time.
Just let them be sad.
Yeah.
Or don't tell them about, I don't know.
That's also very crazy that you just call your partner my Brazilian.
When I went to marry my Brazilian.
Whenever I think Brazilian man, I think of a hot Brazilian man with a 6-pack abs in a Speedo.
Okay.
Okay, that's.
I don't think about it.
I think
don't
about Pele.
it.
Or maybe that guy in Riley's mom's head.
Sure.
Huh?
My soon-to-be husband invited his huge family, about 50 people, traveled from Brazil alone.
Dang.
She insisted on coming to my wedding alone, even though it was clear I was friends with her husband too. She missed her first flight, forcing someone to leave the rehearsal dinner to pick her up 45 minutes away instead of arriving that morning as planned. She got so wasted at the rehearsal dinner that a group of us had to carry her back to the hotel room. At the reception, she continued her sloppy drinking and ended up in bed with a married groomsman from Brazil.
Isn't she like married?
Yeah.
Yikes.
After she'd been missing for about an hour, other guests found them and alerted me, causing the entire wedding to come crashing with a halt while more than 100 people asked each other, but isn't she married?
That's what I asked. Isn't she married?
This was especially frustrating after she'd insisted on dancing alone during the anniversary dance because she wouldn't let her husband attend.
Because she wanted to go hook up with another guy.
She scowled me and made angry faces in every wedding
Get
picture,
her out of there.
even during her bridesmaid speech that she insisted on giving.
OP, you need to learn a fantastic word. It's called no. It works in any situation.
Fun fact, it's a complete sentence
It's a
too.
complete sentence.
You can also do the Spanish version.
No.
Or the
German version. Yet.
Australian version.
Nar.
Noir Claire.
9.
A year later, my husband and I were happily married while she left her American husband and was trying to immigrate to Brazil to be with the guy she cheated on at my wedding. I mean, he's hot. She constantly complained about how things weren't going well or how she was somehow wronged in every situation. Nothing was ever her fault. She blamed her ex-husband for their divorce and never told him she cheated on him at my wedding. So yeah, if she has no idea why I removed her from my life, she's completely oblivious.
That's crazy.
Is it even worth responding? I feel like if you don't have anything nice to say, why light the pot on fire, you know?
I would just cut her off.
We got
and
some
also maybe
comments.
talk to her husband and tell her that she cheated on him. But definitely just cut her off. This woman is obsessed with you.
Yeah,
And she models her entire life after you, and that's just too much.
it is weird. Oh, yeah, that's why she's getting after the Brazilian guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Mm-hmm.
Comment number 1. Here's the deal. If you had set boundaries sooner, I'd say ignore her. But you have a zero backbone in this relationship. You willingly participated in the blossoming of the friendship. You let her into your life despite allegedly not wanting to. You don't just ask people to be a bridesmaid because they annoy you enough.
I agree.
You don't spend genuine and significant time with the person and then act like it's all on them and that they are just some nuisance. You completely enabled her behavior.
I agree.
Given the history of your relationship with her, it seems typical now that you would do another spineless thing, not confront her at all, and delete her out of nowhere. This lady is clearly unhealthy and probably codependent, but you have not helped the situation. You are no better. Please respond to her and be very clear about what you did and why you did it. You are 100% correct to detach from her, but ghosting is cruel and, in this situation, unjustified. Comment 2, yes, respond to her. She is a person and used to be your friend. The compassionate thing to do is respectfully respond to her once. Only once is enough. Being compassionate also benefits yourself, not just the other person. Tell her very respectfully why you did the thing that you did. Do not attempt to convince her of anything. Make it short and direct. Do not send her a paragraph. Say something like, I value you as a person and respect the friendship we used to have, but at this point in my life, I just think we are two different people. I feel it's best for us to go our separate ways. Something like that, but obviously not the exact same thing. Tailor it to fit your situation, but make sure it's objective and clean.
I agree. I think talking.
We got an update.
I think talking to her is good just because you guys, she was in your wedding. But yeah, I think maybe just be honest if you're going to be separating her, from her. I do kind of agree with those comments in terms of OP's kind of enabling this behavior, because I think that if you do not like someone and you don't want to be their friend, which it kind of seems like OP never really wanted this girl around.
Yeah.
It is worse and almost meaner to lie and continue that friendship. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the type of people that you don't like and you have to see them occasionally at the gym or in friend group settings and stuff and you just have to put up with them. That's different.
It feels like you're leading them on.
Yeah, but having this woman in your bridal party, hang out with her one-on-one, living near her, that's leading her on, and it's cruel.
Yikes.
It's very reasonable that you don't want her to be your friend, but
Yeah.
stop hanging out with her. At this point, maybe tell her why.
I agree.
Yeah.
Tell her why. Just say it once and be done with it. I don't think you got to spend a lot of time on it.
No, just be like, hey, I don't think this friendship is really working out.
About 2 weeks after I posted here, she sent a message to my sister saying that I'm a lot of trouble and that after my last relationship ended, I forgot what was important, meaning her.
Everything revolves around her.
She told my sister I was jealous because her Brazilian man is hotter than mine. What? My husband that has a six-pack, wears a thong occasionally, and is just hot?
That's not what it says.
That's what I read.
Riley's projecting.
Riley's reading between the lines.
I don't want that. That's just what's embedded in my brain.
What did you?
Whenever
grow
you
up with
think of a goth chick, you think of a chick wearing makeup and black hair, don't you?
Because that's what it is.
Okay, well, that's what a Brazilian man is to me.
Hot man in a Speedo.
What did you grow up with that Brazilian men?
Why are you so concerned with this, Keon? You good, bro?
I'm so great, but I'm just concerned. I'm not even concerned.
Anyway,
Why are you concerned,
what
dude?
does
What's
OP
up with you?
say?
Come on, Keon.
I think about Brazil. I think about soccer.
3 weeks after my Reddit post, she sent me a direct message saying she'd supported me through a lot and that I wouldn't have made it without her, and I owed her an explanation. I decided this was the time. Thanks to the replies in my previous post, the words flowed much easier than I thought they would. I realized our relationship was not healthy from the beginning. I think it's time we go our separate ways. I wish you the best.
I think that's perfect.
Her reply was a list of all the times she'd helped me, putting me in her wedding. What, LOL? To the guy she later cheated on at my wedding, and including the other time she helped me by inviting herself last minute on a road trip she didn't want to go on, then complaining the entire weekend. She was obviously upset and sent 10 or 12 long messages before finally stopping. She posted 7 or 8 passive-aggressive "real friends are" posts on Facebook, according to mutual friends. By the way, we post a lot on Facebook and other platforms, including podcasts. And if you want to listen to more stories just like this, go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify, and search up OK Storytime for more stories just like this.
So true.
We have a little bit more here.
I think after that, you just stop texting her.
Yeah.
You've said what you need to say, and then we just stop responding after that if she's going to keep going on and on.
And guess what? Easy thing you can also do. Block.
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 Boink.
Boom. You're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Agreed.
OP continues, she showed up at my dad's house that evening, very wasted, standing on the porch screaming for them to tell her the truth. What truth? About what? My stepmother called the police after about 15 minutes when it became clear she wasn't leaving. They didn't even open the door. 2 officers arrived and she proceeded to yell at them. She was arrested. The officers gave my dad their information, mentioned restraining orders, and left. No contact from her since. Dang. I'm glad I don't live near her anymore.
Thank
Who
goodness.
freaking knows what that woman would have done if you lived near her? Oh my gosh.
Thank goodness you got out of there. I mean, it sucks that you got cheated on, but, you know, certain good things came out of it in that you had to move away from this crazy lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you found a hot Brazilian man.
That's
So,
right.
There you go. But that's the end of that story, folks. And we've got another one coming right up.
Yay. Sophia's favorite part of the day is
Whee!
reading stories.
My husband's family banned me from the funeral, and now they're saying I'm controlling him.
What do you think I am? Some kind of hypnotist?
I, 22 female, am very conflicted and honestly just need to get someone else's perspective in order to stop being so worried about my spouse, 22 male. Recently, my spouse's great-grandfather passed away, significantly less fun than
So sorry.
a bit about hypnotism. My spouse is a very emotional man. He doesn't like to be away from me for long periods of time. We have the husband and wife typical dynamic. I work part-time and stay home, while he works full-time and pays most of the bills. This was something he dreamed of. By the way, this comes from user UnluckyDonut6678, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota,
I'm Sophia.
and we are here to give you good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers, so if you would do something else, you do something different, let us know in the comments. But be nice to each other, please, and OP says. He has insisted on bringing me to all of the events involving the passing because I'm apparently his form of emotional support, which is really not fair really quickly, right away. Not fair at all to
You
you.
never want to make your partner your like full emotional, you don't want to like unload all of that onto one person.
Yeah,
Of course, there is like a semblance of, there is a part of a relationship where you do want to like talk about your emotions and like you lean on your partner. But just you never want to put all of that onto someone.
Yeah, that doesn't feel right. Well, apparently his mother and grandmother do not like this very much. They're upset with me for moving in with him and being with him in general. I've not met these women much because they've refused to come near me for the most part. However, my spouse's feelings are much more important to me.
Well, I guess maybe OP was just saying I'm an emotional support and maybe not saying that he was putting all of it on.
I think that it's...
I think maybe, yeah, I think OP was just saying I thought they were saying like that is a bad thing, but it seems like they were just like, yeah, I provide emotional support.
Well, I just mean that if you're uncomfortable as a partner, like going to all of these events for the passing of like the great grandfather, I think that should be okay. I think you should be like, I'm not actually going to go to every event for this.
I think that's fair.
But I don't think that's what my problem was.
Oh, I thought
Not that she was the emotional support, just that it was like there's no room for her to just be like, hey, this is a little too much for me, honestly, and you and your family are going through a lot, and I get that, but like, I can't.
Well,
I can't be at every single thing.
That's what I was saying. It just doesn't seem like that was necessarily what was happening.
Yeah, especially when it definitely also sounds like the women in this family don't like you.
Yep.
We were at the house where his great-grandfather passed, giving our condolences to his now widowed wife. My spouse walked into the kitchen, and his grandmother followed him to talk about the service. A while later, I walked in there to ask him for my phone out of his pocket so I could check on some things involving school, as I'm in college right now. And when I walked in there, his grandmother told me before I said a word, "Can't you just let me have a private conversation with my grandson?"
Jeez. You could have just said, hey, having a private conversation with my grandson.
Yeah.
That would have worked too.
I left, and all I said was, "You could have just asked me to leave. I'm sorry." There were witnesses present to this, including my spouse.
On Tuesday, my spouse and I got invited to lunch with his aunt and his widowed great-grandmother. She apologized to me for the way her daughter lashed out at me at the house, as after the encounter, she left and called me many inappropriate names. During the lunch, his great-grandmother told him she specifically wanted us both to come to a family dinner in honor of his great-grandfather's passing on Monday. Now, his cousin called him today and told him he shouldn't bring me. Told me over the phone that I needed to just stay home and keep the peace. When my husband tried to tell him that he wanted me there so he could feel safer emotionally, his cousin told him, "Well, buddy, you're a man. You can tough it out." I won't lie, that pissed me off. It hurt my spouse a lot, too. So, my spouse no longer wants to go to the family dinner. He is hurt, and he doesn't want to grieve without me there. I told him if he still wanted to go, that I was okay with staying home to keep the peace so he could be with his family during this grief. He doesn't want to go now, though.
Well, then that's fair. But he shouldn't have to go. If they won't let him bring someone who's providing him emotional support, then I would be like, okay, well, then, I don't think I'm able to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you're supportive of this and you don't feel like you're being backed into a corner, I see no problem with that.
Yeah.
But part of me feels like for this kind of thing, though, it's like there has to be some level of like, I'm sure that was very callous the way the cousin said that,
Yeah.
but there does have to be some level of like, you should be able to, I don't know how to say this right. Clearly, these people are like hostile towards your partner. So you have to be able to weigh the scale of like, do I want my partner to feel like they're being attacked, or belittled or talked about behind their back constantly, or, and like feel like it's going to be harder for me to go like deal with it, or like, do I go without her and spare her from that? But now it's, I don't know. I feel like there is a calculus there to do,
I see. Yeah.
but
You don't go at all, honestly, if they say that.
yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to this already. His family thinks I'm forcing him not to go. And he's tried explaining that it was his decision, but they won't believe him. Yeah, really, the people forcing you not to go are them.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess his grandmother, mostly.
Yeah.
And now the cousin's getting in there being like, oh, well, because she said this and that and the other, like, she shouldn't come.
Yeah.
So it's really the cousin and the grandma's fault.
Mm-hmm.
My husband has never had the best relationship with his mother or grandmother. Before we started dating, he was looking into moving and cutting them both off, but he's trying to keep contact with his great-grandmother. He doesn't want to ask her to keep her daughter and granddaughter away, so he's trying to put up with them as long as she's around so she can have peaceful family outings. However, after his grandmother's outburst and after the comments his cousin made, he doesn't want to tough it out anymore. He says he can't stand how they treat him and that it makes him angry that they treat me the way they do as well. I'm worried about him missing the opportunity to be there for his great-grandmother. Usually I encourage him to at least try to talk to them so he can stay in the loop of what's going on with her health. However, after the way they've treated us both, he has refused to talk to them at all. I've stopped trying to get him to as well because it doesn't seem to be working. Approaching them with kindness was the approach we decided to try, and honestly, it seemed to just make things worse. He doesn't want to go, and his family thinks I'm making him stay with me. I kind of feel like an a-hole for even being involved.
You just are existing.
Yeah.
Don't feel like an a-hole. You're literally just existing. His family sucks, and he's being pulled in, 5 different directions, all while grieving a loss. So I feel like, at this point, he just needs to go to them and say, you know what? I don't really care what you guys think. I'm not coming because of your behavior. It's not my wife's decision.
Right.
If you want to believe whatever you want to believe, whatever, but I won't be there.
Yeah. And let them know how it's pushing you away from them. The way that you are approaching my spouse and not listening to me is pushing me away from you even further. I understand that everyone is upset and grieving, but my spouse is overwhelmed and hurting too. He wants to grieve where he is comfortable, and I am trying to respect that and not push him anymore. The reason I feel bad is because of his great-grandmother. She is a very kind woman. They were together for a long time. I know she has to be hurting so much, and she wanted us there so badly. My husband fully refuses to go if he can't take me with him. I don't really know how to handle this situation. I'm trying to be empathetic and put myself in the shoes of his family, but it gets really hard when you're being put down constantly by the ones you're trying to be nice to. I still haven't said anything mean or rude to them, and I won't because I refuse to stoop that low. I just feel so bad for his great-grandmother and for him, and he has my full support no matter what. This man is my rock and has been with me through thick and thin. If he's overwhelmed and tired and wants me there for him, then nobody is stopping me from doing that. I am honestly probably just not going to get involved after this point and no longer encourage my husband to talk to those parts of his family for the sake of someone else. As much as I love his great-grandmother, I will not watch him fall apart for someone else's sake. I do feel like a bit of an a-hole to her, though.
Why?
I just wish there was a way to actually make peace like he originally wanted to do, but nothing has ever worked. Am I the a-hole for giving up on encouraging him to make peace? There is an update.
No. Well, you can't do anything. You're like, the one thing is, you're not doing anything wrong. They are attacking you guys for whatever reason. You have tried to, fix that relationship. They're not willing to do that. And therefore, I don't think that you should actively antagonize them, but just like kind of internalizing that it's not your fault. There's really nothing that you can do. There's nothing that he can do. So like, how do we make peace for ourselves?
I don't know about that. I wouldn't say anyone here's an a-hole except for members of the family that are ostracizing you and causing all of this undue stress upon him.
Yes.
But it is unfortunate that he can't see that just going without you at this point would be the solution that would bring the most peace to you and to his great-grandmother. And the only thing stopping him from doing that is that he would have to spend a day without you there as his emotional support, just like within your physical proximity. Because you're there, you're a phone call away, you're a text message away, you're hey, I'm overwhelmed, let me talk to you for 5 minutes. It's unfortunate that he cannot make that call. And that it seems like even you pushing him to make that call, he refuses to do it. So you're just stuck in this position of like, well, I feel like I'm the bad guy now.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
So I won't call him an a-hole for that because he's clearly he's grieving. There's a lot going on. He's never had a great relationship with his mom and his grandma, but it does suck that he can't. It does suck that he can't just make that call. But we do have an update. For anyone who was reading this, we ended up missing the funeral. Spouse claims that he set an alarm but missed it. I'm assuming he just didn't want to go, like he tried explaining before and was looking for a way out. That's really unfortunate. And I think you've got to press him on that. It's a tricky thing to press someone on, though, but it's like that kind of behavior will snowball and snowball over time because y'all are both young. He's 22. Yeah. You're in your early 20s.
So young.
If he continues to treat these kinds of situations and problems as something that can just be, you don't acknowledge it or you just ignore it or you run away from it, you're looking at that for the rest of your life now.
No, I think a lot of this is because he is so young and hopefully he learns from that.
Yeah. So he's always been a firefighter, mechanic, or paramedic. What? Wait, what?
Is he 22?
Whoa. Yeah, he is.
Okay. Wow.
Anyways, pivoting here, my spouse has always been either a firefighter, mechanic, or paramedic. We live where Hurricane Helene hit, and we hadn't moved in together yet when the hurricane happened. We were stuck there for 2 weeks, barely having enough supplies to survive due to conditions, and having to help the public too. Ever since this happened, he hasn't wanted to go back. He just doesn't like it. I think he has a small case of PTSD forming because of it. He gets freaked out when it rains. Yeah, it sounds like he's got it. His mother, without asking him, invited the entire fire department he was with to the funeral, knowing he hasn't been comfortable going around them. He's pissed because they also invited his best friend. His best friend called him after the funeral, telling him everyone was pissed off at him, which is kind of fair. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's if you're going to make the choice to, I mean, I know you said you set the alarm and you slept through it, but let's be honest. If you're going to miss the funeral, you have to deal with the repercussions of people not being happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that was going to happen, I guess.
They continued to ask him if he could come to the family dinner that was yesterday after the funeral. There were two, one the day before and one the day of. And at first he was going to go, but his best friend told him not to bring me. Reminder, I have done nothing to these people.
OP literally just exists. Like, It feels like all of OP's partners or OP's husband's choices have been all these things that his family doesn't like, and OP just exists. And instead of blaming them on the husband, they blame it on OP.
Right. And I don't think it's OP's fault at all. I also don't really think it's the husband's fault either. No. I just think that clearly there are a handful of people in his family that he already is like, I only have a connection with these people so I can bring peace to my great-grandmother.
Yeah.
I think you go without OP, you go without, and you're like, hey, whatever. She's not here. I'm here for the dinner. I don't have to really care about these people's thoughts or opinions about her. Of course, if they're going to like badmouth her at the dinner, you stand up for your partner. Mm-hmm. But I think that in an attempt to sort of make this smoother, you're actually making it more abrasive.
Yeah.
By avoiding and not going to these events. It's not something that's ever going to go away. And now, instead of it just being like, oh, well, they just don't like my spouse for no reason, they're going to be like, yeah, we don't like her because she's the reason you skipped the funeral, because she's the reason you didn't come to the dinner. She's
When
the
it's
reason
just
that you did this.
Yeah,
you
when
did
it's
that.
It's nothing to do with her.
And you can tell them over and over, that's me. I chose to do that, not her. But they'll go, the only reason you chose to do that is because of her.
Yeah, it's a frustrating position to put OP in.
Right. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. My spouse has been trying to get away from his mother and his grandma since he was in his teens. His mom continuously coached him into believing he couldn't afford to live on his own when he works for RTS. He drives ambulances for a living. He was going to move in before me and wait till we got legally married to move me in with him. But before he went to the complex, he picked me up and told me he wanted me to go ahead and go with him. I've just been here holding him, hugging him, and being there as much as he needs while he wiggles his way out of his toxic family. I know this isn't a thread for venting, but I hope it's okay since this is an update. I refuse to be selfish and talk about my feelings towards all of it until it's resolved and he can rest easy knowing it's handled and over, because I don't want to stress him out even more, worrying about my feelings as well. But I'm so exhausted. I wouldn't change anything even if I could, though. I love him with... You wouldn't change anything even if you could?
I feel like you would change a couple things.
You can. Look, it's okay for things not to be perfect all the time, and it's okay to want to change things in hindsight, you know? In hindsight, I would have wished he would have gone to the funeral, and I would wish that your cousin wouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
So then that this wouldn't have snowballed into what it is.
There's a lot of things probably could have changed to make this a little bit better.
I wouldn't change anything about how y'all feel about each other.
Yeah.
I love him with all that I am. I just got to get the anger of the situation off my chest before I explode. His family insists on believing I'm forcing him not to talk to them. They even got the chief of the fire department to call him. Saturday, we are now obligated to go to the fire department in order for him to at least keep his rank as a firefighter because he hasn't been there in a good while. It wasn't a concern that the chief had because him and my spouse were friends until after my spouse's mother decided to talk some crap about the situation.
Well, in that case, I mean, like, he goes to the fire station, says, hey, this is what's been going on. I have a rocky relationship with my family. And there you go.
I think what needs to really happen is he needs to go to the chief. He needs to go to the fire department and go, I need mental health resources.
Absolutely,
I need help.
Yeah.
Because
well, you can't do this job anymore.
Yeah. Well, after what happened, I need help.
Yeah.
Because I'm not okay.
Therapy.
The rain is freaking me out.
Yeah.
I'm not okay.
Yeah.
And there can be a lot of stigma in jobs like firefighting.
There is. I actually know because I did a podcast series on mental health and firefighting, and it is one of the most stigmatized against mental health careers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a huge stigma against receiving any sort of therapy in firefighting.
But hopefully, if the chief's your friend, you can get. But yeah, it might come time where it's like, this is not. You're gonna have to pivot. I have an entire family of people who hate my guts, including the ones who didn't hate me before. They think I coached him into staying home, into not talking to them, and into leaving his home. He tried telling them to their faces in person that it wasn't me, and they do not believe him at all. The most frustrating part is that I know it's kind of my fault for encouraging him to try and make peace in the first place.
It's not your fault.
Not really.
Your fault.
It's not really your fault. But it's 100% your fault that you can listen to full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, whatever it is, just search OK Storytime. And you can listen all the live long day. We've got a little bit more story left, but I hate that OP feels so guilty.
Yeah, for literally doing nothing wrong. Being like, hey, I want you to make peace with your family. And then they blame her. And then she says, oh, maybe you should go to the funeral. And he doesn't go and they blame her. It's just like so. I think also OP said, like, I don't know how to get all this anger off my chest. You're providing a lot of emotional support for your husband. Are you receiving that emotional support?
Yes.
Is it
I don't want to make it a red flag, but he's just going through a lot right now. But it's something to watch out for. You can't solve your problems by ignoring them.
Yeah.
And once a moment passes, you can't go back to the funeral.
No.
It's over forever. You could look at that as an opportunity. You had an opportunity to go to that funeral, and that opportunity is gone, and it's gone because he just was like, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to oops, I slept through my alarm.
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. On another note, we are going to go to the courthouse and get legally married in a couple of months. After this last end of the drama is handled and the family members he still wanted to talk to have stopped being pissed at him and me, he plans on cutting off everyone else. I was very against this for a long time because, the mindset, that's your parent, that's your grandparents. You have to like them, they're family. But I told him I wasn't against it anymore. I can understand why he wants to do it now, and I'm ready to have this whole situation over with. P.S. They told my husband that no one was allowed to bring their partner, and he checked the Ring cameras at his grandparents' house and saw everyone's partners were there.
What did they expect would happen when he showed up?
Yeah, see, now there's something you could have done.
Yeah.
If they had told me that or told you that, and you show up and everyone's partner is there, you just leave.
Yeah.
Then you go, hey, I tried my best. You all lied to me. And you know what? Even if you all hate my spouse's guts, the least you could do is just be civil for one evening.
For a funeral. Come
For
on.
one night, you could just not make the entire family thinking about how much they hate my wife.
Yeah. Like, figure it out. You're all adults. Figure it out.
Unbelievable. They just didn't want him to bring me because the whole family thinks I have him locked up with a ball and chain in a freaking cage for some reason, when all I do is literally cook and clean. I'm currently working on getting a degree so I can do a little more than just sit at our house cleaning and cooking every day. And that is the end of that story. And, I remember you saying at the beginning that it was his dream to kind of have him be the provider and you be at home. So that might be another road to cross. I hope he's supportive of that.
And also, I mean, like, you're not a mother yet, so I think pursue your dreams while you, like, being a stay-at-home mom is a very valid pursuit and stuff, but, like, make sure before you're a parent that you're pursuing the dreams when you have that time, and don't let, everything that he needs and he wants kind of override what you need and what you want.
Right, 100%.
But
That's the end of that story, though, and we've got another one coming up.
My father threatened to make me homeless, so I left.
Well, you took the opportunity away.
Just content warning, there's emotional abuse in this story, so it might be a little bit heavy. I, 23 female, live at home. I'm in school and work part-time, plus intern at an office. I graduate in June, and I've been applying to jobs as much as I can so I can finally move out. My sister, 20 female, also lives at home, but is doing school online and doesn't work. I try to help with chores around the house as much as possible, although it's difficult since I leave the house early in the morning and come home late at night. By the way, this comes from user Lilac Swans. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Riley.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments below. As OP says, last week I came home and there were clean dishes in the dishwasher. I said, I'm going to take a quick shower, then empty the dishwasher. And my dad went on a rant about how I never help around the house and that my sister is always the one doing everything. I explained that I do help and that just because they haven't seen me help doesn't mean that I don't. He asked me to give him an example, and I told him that I took the garbage out the night before. The conversation escalated to him saying that I should not argue any longer because he can easily make me homeless if he wanted to. The next morning, while everyone was still asleep, I packed my things and left. I've been sleeping in my car for a week. Later in the day after I left, my parents called and my mom texted me asking where I am when I didn't come home when I was supposed to. I didn't reply and blocked my entire family's numbers and social medias and haven't spoken to them since. They have been calling and texting my friends asking them where I am. I haven't told any of my friends that I'm sleeping in my car, so I got very confused texts from friends asking me what's going on, why my parents are asking where I am, and if I'm safe and okay. I told my closest friend that I left home and that I'm safe, and I let her know to tell my parents that I'm fine, but that I have no desire to speak to them anymore. They've been begging my friend to disclose my location and asking her to ask me to allow them to speak to me. I went to my friend's yesterday, and she told me that what I did was awful and that I should speak to them. I told her that they threatened to make me homeless, so I left by my own volition. But she's insisting that making them worry about my safety is a horrible thing to do. I honestly think I just gave them what they asked for. They wanted to get rid of me, so I left.
No.
The OP asks, am I the a-hole for leaving and refusing to communicate with them?
Yeah.
Yes. I can say no on the leaving. I do think it was a misstep to, like, not communicate that.
Shouldn't have left like that without a word.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have left like that. There are some comments, and they do disagree. At least this first one. Not the a-hole. Sounds like you were majorly stressed out, and having someone scream at you in a place that is supposed to be a calm, safe environment is just not helpful at all. I'm guessing your mom doesn't know what happened. I would at least tell her.
She blocked her whole family. She blocked her entire family.
I guess
I don't know.
I'm always like, willing to kind of give the benefit of the doubt because I'm like, ooh, what was going on so much that was like, that is an extreme reaction.
Yeah.
So what was going on to garner that reaction?
Fair.
OP does say, no, my mom was there when this happened and she was on my dad's side. He was the one mainly throwing the insults, but she chimed in a few times as well and had a lot to say. User C Beef Tank. Info. I get your dad, but why are you going no contact with your mom and sister? Fair question. OP. I'm not close with my sister and we pretty much never speak to each other unless we absolutely have to. My mom was also there while this incident happened. And user Cinderella Ridvan asks, info. We genuinely do not have enough information to judge here. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
OP has not provided enough backstory for us to be able to tell whether this is the final chapter in a long history of abuse by their parents, or if this is a histrionic overreaction on their part. This is a post that's guaranteed to drum up a mountain of support for an iffy choice on their part, and I'm concerned that commenters, in their rush to support someone who has apparently been treated very poorly by their parents, are rushing to defend what could easily be a dangerous and unnecessarily rash decision. I'm concerned that there may be more going on with OP than they have shared or are aware. The spur-of-the-moment decision to move out secretly overnight into an unsuitable living situation in order to punish their parents for a relatively small issue makes me worry that there is an underlying instability that places OP at increased risk. And yes, this was a small issue. Even in OP's telling, the threat sounds more like annoying bluster than an actual threat to make them homeless. Clearly, OP's father was wrong and is a majorly the a-hole. I think very well said, all of that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. OP says, they've done this many times before. When I was 16, I had an argument with my mom because she went through my phone. And then my mom told my dad that she can't live with me in the same house and that it's either her or I in the house. So I ended up getting kicked out and I stayed with a friend for a week until she came and picked me up and apologized and said they'd never punt me out again. Which wasn't true because it's the one threat that gets made anytime something happens. User Detached09. Not the a-hole, but maybe talk to your local PD and let them know that if your parents try to file a missing persons report, it's a waste of time because you're not missing. They threatened to punt you out for not helping, so you left. Sounds like a win-win to me. Can you talk to any of your friends about staying with them until you get things together? User Shauna811 says she's 23, she's allowed to leave home and go no contact. User Friendly Useless Lesbian says, not the a-hole. As someone who was made homeless by their parents, I went no contact the moment I left and didn't get back in touch till my father apologized. Never moved back, even though he thought I would, and made a new life. You don't owe them an explanation when they threaten your life, but also don't make your friend play middleman. That's fair.
Yeah, I agree. And if this has, like, if you'd already been kicked out at 16, yeah, that would have changed. That would have changed a lot of stuff forever for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, whatever. You come back after a week because they're my friends, and you're like, I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. And then you keep threatening it. Yeah, I'd probably just leave.
So that's what I mean. Where it's like, again, like I think you're okay to leave. But I think this person too is like, hey, don't make your friends be the middleman. Like, I think there's a certain amount of responsibility. I know you don't want to talk to your parents, but just that baseline, like, hey, I'm leaving because of this reason. I will be safe, but I will not be contacting you. That's it. That's all that needed to happen.
Yep.
Because then at least everybody knows. 2 months later, a week after my post, I ended up moving in with a friend who was kind enough to let me stay and pay a very small amount in rent in return. I also ended up talking to my parents, and my dad apologized for his behavior and promised to never make a threat like that again, which honestly came as a shock to me, but I'm glad things got resolved between us. I let them know that I'm staying with a friend and paying a small amount in rent in the meantime, and that I'm in the process of finding an apartment, and they suggested that I move back in with them for free until I find a job and a place. So I took their offer and moved back home and haven't had issues with them since moving back. By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another update.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Things are okay. Just, make a plan, move out, yada, yada.
Yeah, it's always, whenever we get this middle calm in the storm, I'm always like, all right, what's this next update? But for now, I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Good. Glad things are okay.
Let's finish this story.
I finished grad school and completed my internship, and 2 weeks ago, I landed a full-time job in my field. Slay. I also found an apartment that's only a 5-minute walk from my job.
Nice.
I start the job next week, and I move into my new place 2 weeks from now.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. There's some comments. Deleted user says, I'm always so happy when I hear a good ending. I wish you all the happiness in the world, OP. Same. The Throwback King says, as a longtime lurker, I'm used to seeing these toxic family posts where the OP is forced to go no contact and the a-hole party refuses to apologize and doubles down. So it's nice to see a healthy resolution to a domestic conflict where the a-hole admits their fault and relationships can begin to mend. Not every conflict will end as amicably. Plus, it's great to hear of the success OP's had in her career and living arrangements. User High Unicorn says, I read your previous post and realized just how often Indian parents say this to their kids without actually meaning any of it. What they don't realize is that it affects the self-esteem of children heavily. Such a toxic dynamic that has been so normalized that they don't even realize that they're saying something so detrimental to their child's mental health. Extension page 4120, Eastern European parents as well. Yes, our cultures preach resilience, but it is tough when so much of the self-esteem trauma comes from those you are supposed to feel safest with and spend the most time with as a youth.
Culture. It's a funny business.
It's a funny business. It is. It's interesting because you even said like, oh yeah, like my parents would be like, oh, you're under our roof and that can change. And it is always that interesting thing of never people saying that with different levels of severity, in different families. Sometimes people mean it, sometimes they don't. But I get what the commenters are saying too, that regardless of how serious it may be, stings in the moment. Again, causes those feelings that cause these decisions that tumble and all that.
It's true. It's a slippery slope.
But I'm glad everything worked out.
Seems like it did.
I wanted to move to the countryside, but my wife says it's her or the farm.
I am not a country mouse. I am a city mouse.
Growing up, I, 39 male, spent a lot of time on my grandma and uncle's farm, which has been in the family for 150 years. The farm consists of an 18-acre homestead, 600 acres of farmland, and 200 acres of forest. It also has 2 barns, several smaller sheds, a chicken coop, and a large pole shed for equipment. By the way, this comes from Farm 3242, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Dakota.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, there is a small cabin in the forested area where my older brother and I practically lived every summer from ages 10 to 18. I love the property and have wanted to live there full time since I was a kid. It's located about 40 minutes away from the city where my wife, 37 female, and I currently live with our 6-year-old son. When my grandmother passed away, she left the entire farm to my uncle. He's taken very good care of the property and has slowly transitioned the 600 acres of farmland to farming tenants as he's gotten older. He currently has terminal cancer and only has 6 months to a year left. The property will be split equally between my brother, myself, and a cousin, since my uncle never married or had children, and he wants it to go to the next generation. I've expressed wanting to move there permanently since I was a kid, long before I met my wife in college. Knowing this, 5 years ago, my uncle structured his will so my brother and cousin would inherit more of the farmland and I would get the homestead, most of the woods, and a smaller share of the farmland. But did you tell your wife that?
Have we spoken to our wife?
Did you say from the beginning that, I've always wanted to live on this homestead?
Or was it a little secret that you kept on the inside?
Financially, everything is set. My wife works as an elementary teacher and won't have any problems finding a new job in one of the nearby towns, both about 15 minutes away. I work remotely as a software engineer in a flexible role I've navigated myself into so I would have time to maintain the property. There are property taxes and inheritance taxes that will need to be paid, but if we sell our current house and place the equity into that debt, the income from the rented farmland will reduce our mortgage to about 1/3 of what it is now. Once the mortgage is paid off in 10 years, we'll have an incredible income stream to retire on. We're also inheriting tractors, lawnmowers, and other equipment needed to maintain the property. If something were to happen to one of us, the farmland is so valuable that it could be sold to take care of our family. I've recently been spending a lot of time at the farm, helping my uncle take care of the place as his health has declined. Last week, I got home after a long weekend there, and my wife asked me to sit down. She's upset that I've been spending so much time at the farm and dropped the bomb that she has no intention of selling our home in the city and moving to the farm. She likes where we live, likes her job and her social life. She also doesn't want to move into a smaller house, 3,300 square feet versus 1,900 square feet. She doesn't think it's fair to be ripped away from all of that to follow my dream. I understand where she's coming from, but she's known I've wanted to do this for nearly our entire relationship and hasn't voiced any concern before. Which, that does put, a little spin on this. But in her case, it might just be it didn't seem real before. When my uncle sat down with their heirs and restructured his will 5 years ago, she didn't say anything to me. When we met in college, I told her it was my intention to do this after our relationship became serious, and she was excited. We've spent probably 5 to 10 weekends in the cabin every year since we got married, and she's enjoyed it. My son loves going there and regularly asks when we are going to the farm. I'm heartbroken that she's changed her mind. I've asked her how long she's known she wasn't on board, and she says it's been since around the time our son was born. 6 years ago? And she didn't bring that up?
Could have talked about that 6 years ago, even
Yeah,
5 years ago,
5
maybe
years
4
would've
years
good.
ago,
Maybe last year?
3 years,
Last month?
at any point ever.
I feel a bit betrayed that she didn't let me know, even when my uncle first got sick 2 years ago. She thinks I should just sell my shares so we can live very comfortably and retire early. My brother lives in another country now, and my cousin has no intention of moving there. It won't make sense for us to keep the property if we don't move in, and it will be sold off, something I really don't want to do. My entire vision of my life seems to be changing with no warning, though hers must be too. I think we both feel stuck. And there is an update.
Brother, I don't think hers is changing at all.
Yeah, I think there is a way where you guys take a minute and then you go to her and say why are you feeling this way? Why did your mind change?
Because she's a city mouse.
Yeah,
I
she's
have a
city
feeling
mouse.
her mind never changed.
And
She
then she
says
just
that
lied.
it's because
Yeah.
when her son was born.
Maybe it was before
I think
then.
that's a really great way to be like, all right, let me take all the pressure on me.
Yeah.
Because what, is this going to be our son's fault now?
Mhm.
Checkmate.
Checkmate. I think you guys just need to keep talking about this and maybe even therapy. Because you both have, she's not reasonable for not telling you for 6 years. But her desires to stay with, her job and her friends and stuff are fair.
Yeah, she's a city mouse.
Yeah.
She wants to live in the city. You're a country mouse. You won't live down there in the country.
And you guys just have to decide whether or not that is a deal breaker and who can compromise, or if neither of you can compromise.
Maybe y'all can live there part-time.
Well, but I don't know if they could afford it because the whole reason or the whole way of how they were going to afford it was selling their house in the city.
Dang it.
Yeah, you got to find out.
You have a nice little Airbnb parental property
Yeah,
now.
maybe that's it. Update. My wife and I sat down last night and had a more productive conversation. We're going to have a long dinner date on Saturday, and I've listed out a lot of the concerns on this thread to bring up. I also called a financial planner today and set up an appointment with my wife in a couple weeks to get a more concrete idea about all of the expenses and what options are open to us. Update 2. I wanted to make this post to get some more input from others regarding this situation. My wife and I are starting couples counseling next week, and I would like to go into it knowing what we should discuss. I want to be more considerate to her perspective. After making my previous post, my wife and I had a dinner date. We discussed why she had changed her mind, and it came down to her feeling like I pushed my dream onto her, and her feeling like she couldn't say no to it. She's made friends, likes her job, likes where we live.
So this is literally just, we bought a zoo.
Yeah.
This is Matt Damon, we bought a zoo.
Our son is in 1st grade and has a few friends he met in kindergarten last year. We would be ripping him away from that too. Moving to the homestead was never her idea, and her agreeing to it was mostly just her trying not to upset me.
See how that works?
That didn't work out, girl. Didn't work out.
See
Let's
how
not do
see
that.
how it works when we just try to appease people with lies?
Never works. It always comes crashing down. My dream is going to upend her life. She said she's been waiting for years for me to have a very long discussion about it with her. She's been waiting for you?
Girl
She's
does
go-
not. She doesn't know how
Yeah.
discussions work.
She's like, I was waiting for years for you to bring up that I didn't want to go live on the farm, but you never did.
You just, that whole time, you thought I was true to my word about what I'd said.
She was going to initiate that discussion herself eventually, but she kept putting it off. Looking back, I agree we really should have had a very long discussion about this years ago. I realized I kind of just assumed she was on board with it and acted and spoke about it as if it were an inevitable thing without ever really confirming it with her. She did kind of say that she was on board with it.
Every time sounds like she kind of implied she was down.
After the date, we made an appointment with a financial planner and a couples therapist. I did more research into possible compromises we could make before our meeting with the financial planner. We met with the financial planner and after crunching the numbers and looking at our local market, determined that we could sell our current house and buy a smaller condo in one of our city's suburbs. This would let her continue working and living close to the city during weekdays and commute out to the homestead to try out living there at least for a while. If she chooses to move out to the homestead permanently, we could sell the condo or keep it as a rental or getaway property. When we figured out this solution was possible, she said she would consider it. We also determined that while we could rent out the homestead if we wanted to keep the option of living out there open into the future but still live in the city now, we could barely break even on the rent versus mortgage. I would probably still have to constantly drive out there to keep up the maintenance unless we had a tenant who was willing to do it for a large percentage of the rent, and even finding such a tenant might be very difficult. We would either be losing time or money with a tenant. After the meeting, she was quiet about this issue and didn't want to discuss it for almost 2 weeks until we had a dinner date this past Thursday. We both knew going into the date that we had to discuss it, and it was awkward. I started discussing the homestead, and she got upset. Then she said that if I want to move on to that farm so badly, I can sell our house and leave. But she and our son won't be coming with me, and our marriage will end in a divorce. Her bringing up divorce and threatening the custody of our son was really upsetting to me. Yeah.
As it would be.
It usually is, those things.
That would be for anybody, I'd assume.
Our date grounded to a halt, and once we arrived home, we got into an argument about the divorce comment that ended up with both of us agreeing to discuss this in our first couples counseling meeting next week. By the way, I gotta discuss with you guys that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime.
Do it.
There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I think that's a crazy low blow of her to
Yeah.
immediately be like, well, fine, then I'll divorce you and take your son.
Yeah, after you guys had one therapy appointment, and you're like, hey, we kind of found a compromise, and she's like, I'm divorcing you. We're not staying here. That's it.
And the way she
Girl,
said that, like, it's
do
like
it.
you're springing it on her, like it hasn't
Yeah.
been literally
6
since
years.
the beginning of your relationship.
Yeah, beyond 6 years, because he said that when they met, he was saying.
Yeah. And she was like, oh my God, that's exciting.
Yeah. And now she's like, how dare you push me into this? Girl, what?
Yeah.
But there's a little
It's
bit left.
trash
Yeah.
behavior.
I don't know. My hand is being forced. I don't like that my options are now sell my inheritance, spend huge amounts of time away from my family, caring for a property we don't live on, throw money down the hole with the hope I will get to live my dream even further in the future, or get divorced. When it comes down to it, I will choose my marriage over the homestead, at least for the sake of my son. I'm very worried that if I choose that option, I'll end up bitter and our marriage will fail anyways. I hope we can work out some of this in couples counseling. I really wish I hadn't created this mess if it is my fault. Dude, you have said from the beginning of your relationship, from day one, day numero uno.
Man, honestly, I might get that divorce.
Yeah?
I might get that divorce and just go live on the farm.
I mean, it's just the son I
And-
think OP's, thinking about. And
And
that's,
you can
that's the
split
tricky
that
thing.
there custody down the middle. I don't know. Because your son's going to love it every time he comes because he
Yeah.
loves the farm.
He loves the farm.
And he's going to say, and whenever he's old enough to explain, you say, son, it's just something didn't click right. And your mom couldn't leave the city. And I had to,
Mom's a
and
city
I had to
gal,
come
and
to
I'm a
this
country boy.
ranch. I couldn't sell it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a city mouse and I'm a country mouse.
I'm a country mouse. But that is the end of that story. Good luck, OP. I hope that counseling works.
Yes, and we do have another story. My brother is crazy about my pregnancy. Now he'll never meet my baby.
Is he having the baby?
No, he's just crazy for it.
Eh.
For context, I, female 19, am living at home with my mother and younger brothers while my partner, male 22, is securing a new job and looking for a house for us in a new town further west. By the way, This comes from user Panic and Confusion. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So tell us what you would do in the comments. NOP says, I got pregnant around early February despite being on regular birth control after a wiener wrapper broke during a family holiday. A completely unplanned pregnancy. Despite this, we're both very excited to welcome our baby into the world. We've always planned on having kids, just definitely not this soon. My youngest brother, 13, is the golden child who gets away with anything and everything, including his overbearingly bad behavior. We've always butted heads to the point where my other younger brother has had to step in. There have even been times where I've had to lock myself in the bathroom just to get away from him because he keeps following me around, talking at me to prove his point in an argument. He's even caused me several mental breakdowns by triggering my PTSD about our now estranged father. But he has been really improving lately, going to regular psychology appointments, being eerily kind towards me, and even helping me with things around the house. Actually making a real effort to fix our relationship and be kinder in general. Things were really looking up, and we even spent a lot of time together during the family holiday and had lots of fun. He hadn't had a single outburst for months or caused any fights between us. I truly thought we were finally going to get along. That is, until he found out I'm pregnant. Silly me for thinking things could really change, right? He's been a downright nasty, true little monster. Constantly, he's stirring things up against me. He doesn't miss a chance to remind me how irresponsible I am for getting myself knocked up. Every time I ask for space or for him to stop doing something he's purposely doing to irritate me, he retorts back with stuff like, I can do what I want. I live here. It's not my fault you got yourself pregnant before getting a house. He constantly points out how I've sinned by having spicy sleep before marriage, and my pregnancy wouldn't have to be everyone else's problem if I had just waited. We all grew up super religious, but these days my mother could care less about such arbitrary rules and is actually excited for a grandbaby. It's our grandmother who's strict about religion. Honestly, advice right off the bat, literally completely ignore this kid. Just refuse to engage.
I immediately, and maybe it's just the way that the voice that you were giving him, got the vibes from Finding Nemo of that one fish that's like, I'm obnoxious.
Yeah. He's obnoxious on purpose. So just don't engage. It's not satisfying when there's no engagement. I've been trying to be patient with him, thinking maybe he's just feeling jealous that he won't be the youngest in our family and won't get all our mother's attention anymore, which is probably true. Despite all of his little comments and attempts at getting me to start fights with him and purposely doing things to agitate me, I've remained as calm as possible and simply removed myself from the situations for both my own peace of mind and to not disturb the strained functionality of the household. But the other day, when I was talking to our other brother about what gender my baby might be and name ideas my partner had thought of, he outright told me something rude about my baby. At this, I finally lost it. Like, how dare he insult my child like that? Insult me all you want, sure thing. I can deal with that until I get to move out. But to insult my unborn child just because you're feeling insecure or something, no way, buddy. I screamed at him, telling him I'm sick and tired of how unfair he's been towards me lately. And guess what? Now he's gonna know to always make fun of the baby, because that's what makes you upset.
I wonder, though, if he'll actually be a little bit taken aback that she even yelled back. It could kind of go either way. Like, if she was scary enough, he might stop. But if not, he's also, like, found the breaking point.
I feel like it's gotta be.
Let's find out.
Sometimes
people that don't get mad, though, when you see them mad, you're like, oh.
Let's find out. We got into a huge fight, and he tried to threaten me. I brought up stuff he had done to me before he started going to therapy and how I wasn't afraid to call the cops on a kid if I had to. He continued screaming back at me, at which point I pushed him away to create some distance. I can't let you get close. I've never defended myself before. He was shocked, speechless, eyes wide, mouth finally shut. I took the opportunity to shove him away so I could get out from between him and the wall and stated firmly, when I moved out, I'm not letting you have anything to do with me or my child. You will never be allowed to see it or go near it ever. Do you understand me? And I left the house to get some fresh air. Of course, when Mom got home from the grocery shopping, my little brother immediately went and cried to her and told her all about it. An exaggerated version for sure. and he had everything to prove his sob story. My mom rings me up, yelling and cussing at me and telling me I need to be the bigger person.
Okay, wait, what proof did he have?
My feelings, you can see them, they're so hurt. My feelings are so hurt, my teardrops, they fall. She's so mean to me. She said, I will always make you stinky man. I don't know.
Add to that one.
I don't know. I don't know what proof he had. I tried to explain my side of the story, but she was having none of it. Crazy your mom's yelling at you, the pregnant one.
Also crazy that mom who knows that brother has had these problems in the past isn't like, oh yeah, that's your brother.
Well, it needs to be like, just because someone has behavioral issues doesn't mean they're excused from their behavior.
I just meant like that she's immediately believing you because that's what your brother's done before.
Yeah. She told me that it was no excuse and I had no right to fight her precious little baby,
Oh my
even if he
God.
was being a prisk. She told me what I had said was going way too far and that my brother would be having contact with my child, regardless of how I felt about him or what he'd done in the past. That if she was going to be in my child's life, then he would be too, and I had no say in the matter because he would be a good uncle and deserves a relationship with his niece or nephew. She then went on a whole guilt trip reminding me how much my brother has been trying so hard to better himself with therapy and helping out with the community through the youth center at the local church. How well we were getting along on holiday and how much he's been helping her out lately. And then basically told me I was overreacting about everything because of pregnancy hormones and I'd get over it all once the baby was born. I scoffed and told her plain and simple I was not ever letting the Satan spawn near my child. Then I hung up. Well, she's been sour with me for days and even started making her own underhanded comments towards me now. She makes me feel bad for what I said and trying to make me apologize to my brother. She says I'm being unfair and a witch. So guys, am I a witch for finally standing up for myself and standing my ground on not letting my brother have contact when I move out and the baby is born? And there is an update. I think if we take a breath and just say, hey, I'm not letting you have any contact until you change the way you act with me.
Yeah, I think that moving out could still be a good idea to get that distance if you can move out, and then reassessing as things go.
100%. Because he's still 13. 13 in therapy with behavioral problems.
Yeah, but he definitely needs to not be threatening me and my child before he can see the child.
There needs to be tangible changes to the behavior, and then you can see me and the baby and be around us. My partner went no contact with his awful parents, and his family disowned him because of this. So no, I can't stay with them. I have no other family I can stay with. My grandmother's place was destroyed in the recent floods. I'm no contact with my father and have no idea where he is. I have no friends in the state that I can stay with. My partner is staying with the guy he met in high school that lives in the town we're moving to. It's a studio apartment, and he's sleeping on the couch. They don't know each other all that well, and I don't know the guy at all. The women's shelter in my town is run by the church that my brother attends and volunteers for. Everyone at church believes he's a saint, and I don't trust them to keep him away from me. Well, it might be good if you go to the shelter, and then people will see, oh, this guy is treating his sister like garbage.
Yeah.
I sustained a serious shoulder injury at work a few months back, and my pregnancy is considered high risk. Even if I wanted to work, I'm literally not allowed to. We are currently trying to move out, and my midwives are aware of the situation. They've taken down notes, and that's about it. I live in Australia. We have Centrelink, so I'm not completely without income. On top of this, I've got workers' comp for the shoulder injury. I'm also indigenous, so I get a little extra. Free healthcare, all antenatal and ultrasound appointments, and other doctor visits are paid for by the government. Also, all hospital bills are covered by Medicare, and I have AITAH, so I get free therapy and support aids. Money is not a big concern right now. Yes, I plan on going back to work once we're settled into the new house, and I'm medically cleared to do so. I really don't want to have to rely on Centrelink forever. It makes me feel gross. By the way, it's never gross to listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform. Just search OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen. And you can hear all the juicy little goodies we got there for you.
It's true.
I don't know what to do, sweetie. That's hard. That's a real hard situation to be in. I might just go to the shelter. If I've got nowhere else to go, or try to just
Yeah.
figure it out at home. I know it's hard to
I
forgive.
still think you got to get out of the house. I
Yeah,
think
that's the
that's going to
plan.
be causing a lot of tensions.
I know that you are justified in being upset, but I think just being like, hey, I'm sorry everything has happened the way it has. This is hard on all of us. Just kind of, because in life there come moments always where you will have to swallow your feelings and your pride and have to say and make decisions for the greater peace of a given situation.
That's fine and dandy and all.
Yeah. I will be going no contact with little brother, and after all that has happened, I've also decided to go very low contact with mom as soon as I'm able to move out and have a secure living arrangement. My partner is aware of the situation. He wants to file police reports with evidence that we do have against my brother. He promised not to do anything until I'm moved out and safe first, in case little brother tries to retaliate. And that is the end of that story.
My parents blew up the family vacation, and I'm stuck in the middle. I feel a bit stuck in a family situation that I was not directly involved with, and I'm looking for some advice. I, 31 female, have a younger brother, Steven, 26 male, and our parents, mom, 65 female, and dad, 60 male. Together, they traveled to a different country a few weeks ago with my brother's fiance, Emma, 30 female, as she had nationally qualified for an athletic event, and this was the international championship.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. Both she and my brother are incredibly athletic people and do so many events together. However, this one was particularly big and important. By the way, this comes from Waste Comment 50. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit where this one is from.
No way.
This is one of our own.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Riley,
I'm Angie.
and we're here to give good advice goofily. That's our job.
Yep.
And what comes with that job is we don't really know that much.
Yeah.
But
we do our best.
we do our best. If you have anything you'd like to add, please put it in the comments. Opie says, my parents wanted to join them in support of my brother and his fiance while also having a trip, as this was a popular vacation destination, and they planned this out around a year in advance. They were in the Olympics. I'm just calling it. This happened in August of 2024.
Listen.
My parents rented a house for them all to stay in, but it was roughly a 30-minute drive from the race location. This made things a bit difficult in terms of transportation, as Emma had to transport her racing equipment and required a truck. When they all first arrived, I think they were collectively exhausted, as the travel time was roughly 11 hours on the plane and had another 10 hours in layover timing. It should be noted that Steven does not do well when traveling. Red flag.
You think? Honestly, I kind of agree. I get it if you're like motion sickness and whatever, but like you gotta suck it up sometimes.
Dude, just
And I mean, maybe that's hard. That's easy for me to say because I don't get motion sickness, but I don't
you're
know.
close. I mean, just enjoy it. Enjoy the journey, not the destination. He gets very upset and finds the entire experience unsettling. We have been on other trips with him as family, and it takes a day or two for him to adjust. He can be grumpy. He made it known that he didn't really want to go on this trip, but he did want to support Emma. I think the stress was exacerbated by the fact that Emma and Steven were fighting during the traveling time.
Not a good combo.
Emma also suffers from pretty severe anxiety and relies on my brother heavily for support. After arriving, between all of them, they had a single rental truck to navigate the area of their travel. This made things difficult, as Emma and Steven wanted to use the truck almost every day to go out to the racetrack with the equipment to either go over it or do some general training. My parents felt annoyed by this, as they were left alone without transportation and didn't have the time they wanted to spend with their son.
Do we have an easy solution for this?
Yes, and I think everyone here knows what that solution is.
Tell us, Riley. What is it?
Get another truck
Get another truck.
or car or
Come
Uber.
on.
Come on.
I don't know if they're expensive. I mean, it seems like you guys got money if you're doing racing for your sport.
Yeah.
If, whether it's cars or horses, I'm sure you've got some money to spend on another
One
rental.
day, my dad told Steven and Emma that he would drop them off at their training destination and keep the truck for the day, so that he and my mom could get around and enjoy the area. He also told Steven that he would be going to a local bar with my uncle, aunt, and cousin. They also had traveled separately to also have a vacation with my parents while supporting Emma, so he would not be able to pick him up in the evening because they would be drinking. This has the simplest solution.
Right. Come on, guys. What are we doing?
Instead, my dad gave my brother his credit card and told him to get an Uber back to the house when they were done. That evening, my brother messaged my dad saying that he wanted a ride home. My dad promptly replied that he was drinking and couldn't. So my brother said, fine. My dad took this as my brother being mad and started calling him. But Steven didn't answer. This is where I'm not 100% certain about the details. But I believe that my dad had sent a message outlining all the things that he had done for my brother, basically implying that he was being ungrateful. Then my brother understood that as our dad saying that Steven owed him for the house rental and car rental. So Steven responded by, fine, how much do you think I owe you? I believe at this point our dad started backpedaling, saying that he was just mad that he didn't pick him up. This text conversation upset my dad so much that he left the restaurant and walked back to the house. My mom followed him. I believe he broke down crying on the walk home and then locked himself in the bedroom. Steven and Anna arrived back shortly after, and my mom was waiting for them in the kitchen. My mom told me that she was calmly waiting for Steven, and he was very angry when he arrived and wouldn't sit down to talk to her. However, my brother says that my mom had been drinking, and when they arrived, my mom snapped at Emma, saying, go to your room. I'm talking with my son. Then Emma quietly walked out of the room, and Steven became livid about how my mom addressed her.
Oh my god.
Oh!
So messy.
This is weird.
This is weird. It feels like, okay, I understand why people are getting upset about these things, but I also am kind of like, guys, let's calm
Let's
down.
get our own Airbnbs. Let's get our own
Yeah.
trucks. Let's, vacation with your family and maybe set aside some time for the son.
Right.
If they had their own places, none of this would have been happening.
Yeah. Get your own things. We can have some separation. It's all we need. It
Ye-
works wonders.
Golly, right? Here they spoke in the kitchen for 20 minutes, but it didn't go anywhere. Steven tried to show my mom the messages that Dad had sent, saying that they made him feel like he owed them. Meanwhile, my mom was trying to say that his feelings didn't make any sense, as they didn't feel that way. But they did feel disrespected. It was at this time that Steven and Emma packed their things and booked a hotel closer to the event, as a race was in 2 days. They left the next morning. After they left, my dad could not stop crying and booked new flights to leave early. Bro,
Jeez.
oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
The dad crying this much? I don't know. Like,
It just feels a lot messier than it needs to be.
yeah. He sent my brother another message saying that they were leaving early and that Steven would need to book out of the house for them, as they were meant to stay for another 3 days. Steven ignored this message and messaged my mom, saying that they would need to book out of the house themselves, as they were no longer there. My parents left the next day, did not book out, telling Steven that he had to book out for them. They were even more upset that my brother didn't seem to care that they were leaving. When Steven arrived a few days to book out for them, he said that the place was a mess, filled with wine bottles, and he had to clean up.
Oh my god. Okay, if it's under the parent's name, do we know whose name?
The
it's
parents,
under?
I'm assuming.
Okay, well, if it's under the parent's name, let them get fined.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let them get all the fees if they want to book out or not book out. Like, if they just want to leave with a mess there and not check out, then they get to deal with the consequences of that. They're adults. They are more adult than everyone else there.
So, here's where OP comes into it.
Okay,
This.
let's hear it.
I have received many calls from my mom saying that Steven has really messed up and needs to apologize because of how hurt my dad is. She also believes that Emma is not the best partner for him because of their regular arguing. Steven feels like my parents genuinely drink too much and that my dad makes us responsible for his feelings and that they do hold things over their heads. Also this week was about Emma. And my parents made it about themselves and embarrassed him in front of Emma's family, who had also traveled to see her compete. I think everyone here behaved poorly. I do feel more sympathetic towards Steven, and I'm shocked the entire thing started over something so stupid and at how immaturely my parents reacted. I have a very close relationship with my mom, and she made it seem like she didn't even recognize her own son. I feel pressured from my parents to stick to their side and discourage Steven from being with Emma due to their differences and regular conflict. If you have any conflicts and you want to drown it out, go to your favorite podcast platform, search up this magic word, okay, Storytime, and boom, on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, all your conflicts will go away.
They surely will.
At the start of play, you'll just listen to other people's conflicts.
Yep.
What's your honest take here?
My honest take is, everyone grow up.
Right. I feel like Steven's the problem in the relationship.
Yeah.
He's
Same.
arguing. He doesn't seem like anything's making him happy.
Yeah.
He's just the problem. Parents, stop drinking so much.
Yeah.
I
Honestly, that could be a huge part of it.
yeah, because
Definitely not helping anything.
the dad seemed fine. There were so many wine bottles when he got back, and
Yeah, right?
talking to Emma like that.
Yeah. And also just the fact that they were leaving. They're like, "Oh, there's too much drama. I don't want to be around everyone. We're going." And then they're like, "Why isn't anyone sad that we're leaving? Why isn't anyone upset that we're gone?" It's like, come on, dude. Come on.
So weird. But my brother seems indifferent to my parents' reaction and exhausted by their behavior in general. I feel like this didn't involve me, but both sides have reached out to me to discuss this and gain a different perspective. I feel pressure to talk to my brother on my parents' behalf, even though I don't agree with their actions, like snapping at Emma, being extremely dramatic, and leaving the vacation early just to make a scene and guilt my brother. However, I don't want to ruin my relationship with my brother, as it is something I cherish. I don't agree with all of his actions either. He should have just taken the Uber. This all seems so stupid and dramatic, and I don't want to be involved. Would I be in the wrong to tell my mom that I don't want to speak about this anymore while quietly supporting my brother? Yeah, I feel like if the brother just took the Uber, it would have been all fine.
Yeah.
And they
Right.
just blew it out of proportion.
Totally, dude. Totally. This all could have been avoided so much easier than it is.
Yeah.
Like, we just could all be like chill people and have our own things, be responsible for ourselves, and be
Right.
like chill with each other.
Yeah, is that so hard to ask
So
for?
hard to just be chill, guys.
We
Come
got
on.
one comment here.
Let's hear it.
They need to meet up and have a civil conversation while sober. They are all acting like children and not grown adults, which they
Yeah.
need a mediator, and it seems like you're the only person that has their head screwed on straight.
Unfortunately for you.
Gosh, and you weren't even there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on.
But that's the end of that story.
My husband is going crazy over adopting my niece.
He's obsessed.
My husband, Darren, 29 male, and I, 32 female, have been married for nearly 4 years. We have 2 children together, Kara, 6, and Levi, 3. Recently, my husband has been bugging me about having more children, but I had a particularly hard and traumatizing pregnancy and birth with our son, so he's thrown the idea out there that we would adopt in the future. By the way, this comes from user He Knows Other Login, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Now, I'm not opposed to adopting a child. I think it's a wonderful thing for people to undertake, and we're not unfamiliar with adoption as it is, since Darren actually adopted Kara when she was 4 years old. Her biological father is not in the picture. However, recently one of my cousins, Caroline, 19, gave birth to a little baby girl who's 3 weeks old. Caroline is one of these people who really does not have any business having a child. She was diagnosed as mentally disabled, but the family has always had a strong feeling that fetal Alzheimer's syndrome was involved as well.
Yep. So, real quick.
Wait, don't say the actual.
EMR is an outdated and offensive term for a person with a mild form of intellect disability, also known as intellectual development disorder. So, yeah, we can say that.
Diagnosed with intellectual development disorder, but the family has always had a strong feeling that fetal alcohol syndrome was involved as well. Her boyfriend is in a similar boat. Both have disabilities that make caring for a child full-time very difficult. The point being, Caroline is a super sweet girl, and I have no qualms about letting her play with my children when other adults are around, but she really is not suited for parenthood. My husband has recently gotten in his head that we would adopt Caroline's baby. I've only seen the baby once, not from lack of trying, just that Caroline can't drive, and we only have one running car at the moment, which my husband has been taking to work. Not only that, but I feel that Caroline's parents, my uncle and aunt, both in their 50s, would put up a real stink about us wanting the baby. I'm not saying we couldn't care for the baby. We really could. Darren makes plenty of money that I'm able to stay home with our 2 children as it is. Our house is pretty accommodating, and we're in a generally good place. He is of the opinion that Caroline and her boyfriend will be deemed unfit parents, and that the baby will be lost to the system. While I'm not arguing that Caroline isn't the best parent to care for the child, I don't think her parents would let the baby go. I'm about 95% sure that they would take that baby and raise her. But he is adamant that we should adopt the baby so that she stays in the family. The problem is, I know that if we were to take that baby in, it would upset the family, particularly Caroline and her parents. I do not want to cause an uproar in the family over that. Am I wrong here, or am I looking at this from the wrong angle? And there are
Okay.
comments, but yeah, it seems like every
What?
single thing that you've thought so far is an assumption.
Well,
Yeah.
he's just okay, but I'm just confused why he's assuming that they would even be able to adopt the kid, because presumably it would first. Okay, so first he's assuming that the parents would be deemed unfit. We don't know that. And then he's assuming that Caroline's parents wouldn't adopt the baby, and then that you guys would somehow be able to. Like, that's not really how that.
Also, wouldn't
Works.
Caroline's parents be part of the family? if they
Exactly,
adopted
that's
the
what I'm
baby?
saying. I'm saying, like, why wouldn't they go immediately to the parents, or why wouldn't the baby go immediately to the parents? Yeah, I don't understand your husband's logic here. So I feel like Nina Nilsson says, I think this is a non-issue until it happens at all. Yes, exactly. I feel like the question here is, one, do you want to adopt a child? And then let's live in this hypothetical world where we maybe, have the ability to adopt this child. Because right now you don't, that's not an option right now at all.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess it's just like, let's talk about, do we want to adopt a kid?
Yeah,
Just
that
as a
should really be the
hypothetical.
only-
That's the only question here.
Do we want a third kid? Do we
Yeah.
wanna adopt?
Nothing
third
else is
child.
like even on the table yet.
Comments. Number 1. How is your husband envisioning this will go exactly? For you to get this child, your cousin and her husband would both have to lose custody first, which takes considerable time and multiple incidents. The child would go to foster care, likely with family members like the grandparents, who may step in immediately. The system prioritizes keeping children with parents through reunification efforts and support services. For adults with developmental disabilities, having capable relatives in the home often allows families to stay together. Unless parents voluntarily give up their rights, involuntary termination takes significant time. If the grandparents want custody, you'd have to fight them in court, plus potentially the father's family and other relatives. Courts typically favor closer family relatives. Even if you eventually won custody after spending considerable time and money, you'd have a child who experienced trauma, been through the system, and may understand you played a role in separating her from her family. Why fight for a child who already has capable relatives who love her and are closer to her when there are countless children without family support who need homes? You could help your cousin parent successfully right now, or support the grandparents in raising the child. If you want to adopt a child with special needs, many are available immediately without creating family conflict. What makes you certain you're the best option? If Caroline loses custody, mention to the grandparents that you'd help if they can't. But right now, you're hoping well-intentioned people will fail at parenting to fulfill your adoption fantasy. People with developmental disabilities can successfully parent with proper support systems.
Real quick, I do wonder if you can have kids, or if the husband, if you guys can't have
they already
kids.
have 2 kids.
They already have 2 kids and they want a third.
But OP can't have a biological kid because of previous birth experience
Okay.
with her son.
So I just want to get the deeper perspective from the husband. That's what I want.
Well, that's the question. It's like, why does he specifically want this kid when they could talk about having, adopting another kid?
Yeah.
Or being like a baller uncle.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense why you would be so insistent about a child that isn't, like, even an option right now.
Well, I feel
for
like
you
the
to
obvious answer is that there's, prejudice being levied at the parents
Yeah, absolutely.
for, being disabled.
He's just making so many assumptions.
But yeah, regardless of literally every other element of the story, the fact that it's not just like a conversation of like, do we want to do this? And
Yeah.
instead it's being like, oh, we need to do this. We have to do
It
this.
doesn't make any sense.
You can't just unilaterally decide to add a child into your family. It needs to be
So you
something
can't
you discuss
unilaterally
with
decide
everybody.
to steal that child from
Yeah,
their family.
Like ignoring the fact that you also do not have rights
Yeah.
to just
to
do
this
this
kid.
in the first place. Like, this isn't a one-sided,
No.
I'm saying this, so this is what we should do kind of decision.
Agreed.
Your husband is living in a fantasy. If you want to adopt, start the process with available children or become foster parents now, so you're certified if needed. The only way this works without massive heartache is if both parents voluntarily terminate their rights. Ask them directly. If they refuse, drop it and pursue legitimate adoption channels instead of counting on family failure. OP replies. Caroline, the mother, already lives with her parents, and she's already been told she has to attend parenting classes. Not sure who told her that. Family grapevine and all that. They've been helping her as far as I know, but they can't be there all the time because they both work. And I don't want Caroline to fail. It's just that with past experience with her, I don't think she will get very far simply because of her lack of mental capacity. And you're right, we don't know that FAS was ever in play. It's just always been assumed because Caroline's birth mother was and still is a heavy drinker, even when my uncle was married to her. Main reason for their divorce, if I recall correctly. And I haven't made any mention of her boyfriend's family because, well, I've never met them. I don't know the first thing about any of them. I've only met her boyfriend once, so I don't know what kind of support system he really has.
Exactly. That's the thing. You guys don't know anything.
Personally, I'm not entirely sure I want to adopt a child as it is, which I've told my husband. I would have to do a lot of soul searching before I make that decision. But your post brings home so many points that I've tried bringing up to my husband, and I've just not been able to get the right words out. We have an update.
I think then that should stop the whole thing. Then the whole conversation, I mean, like, you can have the conversation, but you absolutely should not adopt a child if you are not 100%, ready and on board to adopt a child. Let alone a child that, has a lot of different, like, emotional baggage and also just different
family
ability.
politics.
Yeah, like, there's so much. You already don't want to adopt a child. And to adopt this child it's just like a whole other, thing.
Yeah, and you just show the post to your boyfriend then, to your husband.
Yeah.
And just get to the why. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you feel the need? Why?
Yeah.
Why? And he's going to be like, well, because they can't handle it. And it's like, okay, their parents can handle it. Why does it have to be us? What is this?
Yeah.
Update. We had a crazy Thanksgiving break. But on our 2-hour drive back from his folks' house on Saturday, our children were asleep in the back seat, so it seemed like an appropriate time to talk.
I feel like that's actually a bad time to do that.
The worst time ever is when
your
all of you are
children
locked in a steel box for 2 hours.
And also, I feel like as having been a child before, I pretended to be asleep so many times. Constantly, I was pretending to be asleep.
That's the other thing is your kid's definitely not sleeping.
They're probably awake, listening to your whole conversation.
I hate that more than anything. This happened to me, like getting cornered to have a conversation while driving.
Terrible.
I hate it so much.
Already, whoever's driving can't fully pay attention to that conversation.
And it's just like, ugh.
That's not debatable. You can't fully pay attention to a serious conversation where you have to, like, look at each other. And Riley's rage baiting me.
I'm not
Riley's rage
you.
baiting me.
No, this is my take. I feel like
It's not debatable.
I've had some pretty serious takes on my way to Atlanta and back.
Sure, you can have a serious conversation, but I feel like this is not the type of conversation that you should be having in a car with kids in the backseat.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no. Okay, all right.
It seemed appropriate. I started out discussing plans for my family's Thanksgiving, which was to be at our house the next day. Most of my family would be attending, including Caroline and her parents. Darren mentioned he was excited to see her baby. When I asked why, he surprised me and said he's being a little baby crazy lately. One of his buddies just had a baby, and he got to see it not too long ago. He said he just loves holding babies and everything that goes with having a baby. This conversation eventually led into him asking if we were going to have another baby or adopt one in the near future. I was honest with him that I didn't know if I would be up for adopting a child. I know he had done it before with a step-parent adoption of my daughter, but I didn't know if it was something I would be able to do just yet. I also wasn't pulling another pregnancy off the table either, but I was adamant that I would need to get a medical opinion on whether it would be safe for me to be pregnant again. And only if pregnancy was impossible for me, then I would be more likely to consider adoption. This led us into his desire to adopt Caroline's baby. I asked him what prompted him to even consider it, and he brought it back to being a baby crazy. Our youngest is 3 now and really out of the baby stage, and he missed that. He really thought that offering to adopt Caroline's baby would help Caroline, her boyfriend, and their parents, so they didn't have the stress about caring for the baby. He admitted that after thinking it over more, he realized it was probably a silly idea, but he just wants another child so badly. And by the way, if you really badly want to listen to full episodes of stories just like this, you can do it real easy
So
Excuse me.
easily.
All you gotta do is do what? What do you gotta do, Sophia?
Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio.
That's right, because that's where you're gonna find over 72 days worth of stories to listen to.
Just search up OK Storytime.
Well, he was baby crazy. Let's finish
Yeah.
this story.
He's baby crazy.
He was baby crazy.
Had a little bit of a momentary glitch in the system.
Babies.
Yeah.
Babies wanted baby.
You want baby.
Could this guy, I don't know, volunteer? I know at my church you can volunteer to help out with kids during
Yeah.
the time and
I think that's a
everything
great
like that.
idea.
Would that? Because
I feel like
you know what this vibe is giving me
What?
is whenever people like puppies and they just want a puppy, and then whenever the puppy
Mm.
gets bigger, they're like, oh, I just want a puppy again. Just do puppy yoga.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah,
a puppy
puppy
yoga.
yoga's
class.
Also, you
fun.
can foster puppies and kittens.
Really?
Yeah, my friend fostered kittens. It was great for me
Yeah,
because I got to go over and play with little baby kitties.
That is cute. Wait, can I do
I
that
think this
around
guy
here?
really wants
Yeah.
a baby.
Dude, I really want to convince Alex to get a dog, but it is not gonna happen.
You could foster a dog. With the fostering puppies, it obviously is a little bit harder because they're untrained.
Nah, I'll train him.
Well, yeah, you would just have to be training the puppies and stuff.
Yeah, he'll be a good boy.
But it's cute. It's cute.
We should do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, he absolutely could go and volunteer, and especially like if he specifically wanted to help kids who had like different, like disabilities and stuff, then he could find programs that help with that.
It's true. I just hope he doesn't fall victim to like the whole, it is kind of a gendered problem when like people like raise their eyebrows way more when a guy is like, I'm obsessed with babies.
Yeah.
I love babies. And they're like, why?
Well,
It's
I think
just-
this was a little bit. I don't think I have a question of why he wants a baby.
No,
More
he
so
just
why
misses
wants-
the baby phase.
Yeah.
I'm just
So, real quick, I remember when my dad got really mad. Ryder couldn't. You know those like things you put on like here.
Papoose?
What's it called?
Papoose?
Yeah,
I think that's what it's called.
my dad's like 6'8", and he'd look like those little like giants in video games with like a little guy on the back. And he was so mad whenever Ryder couldn't fit anymore. He's like, oh, my dream's gone now.
Oh, that's cute.
the dream is gone.
That's cute.
So I told my husband that ultimately, if we were to adopt a child, I would want to start that process outside of the family. I also said that if Caroline and her boyfriend were to be deemed unfit parents, then either her parents or his parents would step up. The only way I would reconsider adopting her baby was if one of them approached us about it, and I highly doubt that will happen. But I did tell him that after the new year, I would go see a doctor about possibly having another baby. I said I wasn't sure I was ready for it, but at least talking to a doctor wouldn't hurt, so we could get an idea of how to proceed. If a doctor clears me for a future pregnancy, we'll revisit the topic. Until that point, baby talks have been halted on both sides. There are some comments. Number one, if he's baby crazy enough that he's considered offering to adopt somebody else's baby, that's kind of creepy. See what I'm talking about? Why not look into ways he can volunteer with babies/young children in need? He can find an outlet for these needs of his, and maybe he'll get enough of it out of his system to take the pressure off you and give you 2 times to determine if having a child is in the best interest for your family right now. Comment 2 is, it's kind of odd that y'all are talking about adopting or not adopting her baby when that's not even on the table. What if some other couple were trying to decide whether or not to adopt your kid, while that's not something you'd ever consider as an option? And that's the end of that story.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, I feel like OP wasn't the one who was considering that. She was trying to figure out why her husband was thinking about it. And she talked him down. She figured it out. So I'm glad you guys figured it out and had a conversation and are on the same page now.
Yeah.
Good
Babies.
job, babies.
Babies.
But that's the end of that story.
That is the end of that story and the end of that episode.
Indeed it is.
My parents excluded me from Christmas, and it changed everything.
Not Christmas.
Okay, I'm 90% sure that I am, but I've let it sit for a day, and I'm still hurt. Before we get into this, I'm very aware that many people in the world get nothing at all for Christmas. Oh, I should spend weeks leading up to Christmas volunteering, virtually this year, for a battered women's shelter and a foster care organization. By the way, this comes from user Artorian Scribe. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddits. I'm Keon,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know in the comments. OP says, prior to this Christmas, we quarantined for weeks and we all got tested. We are one of those families that doesn't go into stores, hooray, curbside, or eat out, and we all are fortunate enough to work from home or be retired. Now, my mom does all the shopping for Christmas, full stop. She asked what I wanted, and because I'm pregnant, I just asked for stuff for the baby, especially since I won't have a baby shower. She said, fine, I'll get that stuff, but what about you and your husband? Well, we really didn't want for much, so I threw together 3 ideas for each of us, but I told her to please shop just for the baby. I also gave them a link to the registry with over 40 small items selected, so they weren't on their own. Meanwhile, I got them what they asked for. I got my dad a Fire Stick TV and contributed to his Oculus. I got my mom some jewelry from Pandora and a hand-blown glass hand-blown glass cups that she wanted. My brother, 24 male, who still lives with them, a case for the iPad they got him, and $100. My parents still do Santa. That's cute. The whole bit. The cookies, the milk, the presents that magically show up. It's their choice. We don't ask for it, but we play along because it makes them happy. We come downstairs yesterday morning and everyone else has gifts from Santa. We do not. My dad just slips us a note saying Santa is done for us. So we sit there awkwardly while my mom, dad, and brother open all their gifts from Santa. They struggle to find gifts for me at all. They found plenty for my husband, gardening stuff he wanted, but the only real gift they gave me was a pair of Adidas shoes I didn't ask for, a perfume I don't wear, and a ramen I like. OP says that's fine. All I wanted all along were things for the baby, who they've known for weeks will be a boy. They gave us 3 onesies and an ugly nursing pillow. The icing on the cake was my older brother, 40 male, and his family have a whole stack of presents to be sent to them. Just for him, we're talking power tools, drill sets, brand name clothes, and shoes. Just for him. And this is not even mentioning their wife and kids. Here's what might make me an a-hole. Not wanting to spoil everyone's fun by sulking, I chose to return 2 days earlier than planned. My husband is trying to be understanding, but said I may be the a-hole for expecting anything at all, and for leaving so unexpectedly. In fact, the entire family made passive-aggressive comments the entire day. But I ignored them all. The only person I felt bad for was my dad, because he seemed truly hurt. It feels as if it was just me and my future son who were neglected. So I left. Am I the a-hole? Sophia, what say you before we get into some
For
comments?
leaving the party. I don't know. I think they're the a-hole, but I do think that like leaving, like did OP's entire family leave or just OP?
I think OP.
Is that what it said?
So I think the husband stayed.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, it's a little tough. Like on the one hand, well, I guess your child's not old enough to, for you to ruin your kid's Christmas or anything by leaving.
It doesn't say if like OP left with the entire her husband and child.
Actually, is the child even born yet?
It said the child is.
Okay, child's born.
I don't know if the child's born yet. No.
Oh yeah, I was so saying. So like you're not ruining a child's, Christmas or anything. So I feel like that's somewhat reasonable, and they're not like they don't seemingly didn't care about you at all for this Christmas.
Seems like a lot of people in the chat are
Yeah.
saying not the a-hole
Yeah,
because
I
they're
don't
just
think you
matching the
made-
energy.
You didn't make like a big scene.
Yeah, I'm just very confused of
Yeah.
like,
I don't know why they did this.
yeah,
though.
why did they? Why? I made a list, and I guess again they were just like, they were being literal. Like you said, you didn't want anything. You said you just wanted stuff for your baby boy, but you barely got anything. I mean, you got a couple things for him, but I don't know. I don't think you're the a-hole for leaving.
Mhm.
Unless if you left in like a very rude way, but you're like, I'm gonna go home and just like chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into the comments. Comment number 1. OP. I think you may want to get a DNA test with your parents. My dad has half siblings and they're treated better. Paid for cars and college. And my cousins are treated better than me and my siblings. If you don't want to cause drama, buy a few 23andMe kits and frame it as if you wanted to do something fun for the whole family. You'll get your answer. OP replies, I did. And I didn't like what I found out. It was completely by mistake that I found out. I didn't mean to. My dad isn't my real dad. I was an in vitro baby. I knew this all along. I found out by connecting with my half-siblings, found on the site that our bio dad was a donor. Most of them knew. I didn't. However, I don't think my dad knows. My dad always points to my physical features that we share and personality things we have in common. I don't have it in me to reveal this, so I hold it in. I honestly didn't even think about it until you guys brought it up. But if you scroll through my history, you'll see I found this out a couple of years ago. Comment number 2, info. I really don't understand the bit about the Santa is done for us note. OP responds, it's a note his mother wrote him that basically reads that now that you've graduated and you're an adult, you're responsible for being Santa. When my dad saw, I looked taken aback when they said I would have had nothing from Santa on Christmas morning. He went to his memorabilia box and gave me that note. Sorry for the confusion. There is a reply. That makes things more confusing. So they asked you what you wanted for Christmas and then handed you this old note Grandma wrote your dad back when he was considered an adult, saying, sorry, no more gifts for you, even though they asked what you wanted? You specifically, since your husband seems to have gotten stuff? I need more clarity on what is going on here. OP responds, I really don't know what else to say. That's what happened, and it confused me too. He didn't hand me that note until my mom said no more Santa on Christmas morning, and he saw I looked a bit disappointed. They love my husband, especially my mom. Another reply says, but Santa still came for your mom and your 40-year-old brother. Yeah. What the heck? Again, another reply says, yeah, it seems like they're basically punishing OP for becoming a parent, and not even her husband, just OP because she's pregnant. This is so weird. It's like they wanted her to internally be their little baby, and now that she's having one of her own, they can't handle it. Comment number 3, not the a-hole. So they gave everybody else heaps of nice presents, and you hardly anything. That's a bit cruel, especially since you just want stuff for your baby. Was there any discussion over Santa prior? Like, is there any reason why you wouldn't have gotten any presents from Santa? OP says, nope. No discussion, so it was honestly a shock. I paid for the family dinner, I sent roses to my mother this year when she didn't feel well, and I talked with my parents quite a bit. I'm actually really confused, and so are we, but we have an update.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's just find out more, I guess.
Chell Bell says OP needs to confront both parents and stop assuming anything. This annoys me so much. Just ask. Very true, though it does seem like she was asking why she doesn't have gifts, and he was like, no Santa this year.
Yeah, and it's just very confusing.
Yeah. So
I feel like so why did hubby get my OP's husband literally got like cool stuff. My oldest brother got literally the entire work shed over there. And I got a rock.
I got a rock.
I got ramen.
Yeah. I got ramen.
That's crazy.
I got an Oculus. I got tools.
I
got
a rock.
ramen.
I got a ramen. That's crazy.
I got candy. I got new shoes. I got ramen.
Hey, you know what?
It's just that bit going on.
To some people, ramen is their number one thing.
Yeah, I made a lot of homemade ramen.
But
in
there
college
is an update. One of the commenters suggested actually taking a 23andMe test and seeing if it matched my parents. I had done so 2 years ago and posted about it on this account because I was struggling with the revelation that my dad is not my bio dad and how it may have impacted how I grew up. I forgot to consider this until I read this comment. My mom knows. My dad either doesn't or doesn't want me to know. Either way, I'm not going to give my mother the ammo to hurt me by broaching this topic with them. I know that's what she'll do. I know my mother didn't love me as a child because she called me up a couple of years ago and let it slip, saying, I wish I had loved you when you were a child. Not saying, I wish I had loved you more or anything like that. Just point blank, I didn't love you. It's just, none of this made itself known during Christmas, ever. I was shocked. I've spoken with both parents, and my dad was beyond apologetic. He said that the note was really something he treasured as a symbol of leading his own house. Okay,
Well,
that should have been okay. This should have been talked about
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, it doesn't really read well when OP just doesn't get gifts anymore and everyone else does.
It's like, hey kid, you're a parent now.
You're a parent now. No gifts for you.
You're the leader of the house.
Because if it was like OP gets gifts and then he, with the baby stuff, says, you're Santa now, Like, that would be different. That'd be different. It'd be like, okay, wow, this is lovely. You know, I'm a parent.
Like, no more Santa.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like that's all. This could be true,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's all BS.
Yeah, that
I
he
feel like-
treasures it.
Yeah, it's like from grandma.
Yeah.
It's like handed it
He's
down.
like, I want generational trauma.
Yeah, what? He said that it was very poorly timed and that he whipped it out to cover the awkwardness. He was blindsided. He works and she's retired. My dad trusts my mom with the shopping. He tried to broach the topic with my mom before I talked to her, and it did not go well. She became incredibly defensive to the point that he had to call me to tell me not to reach out to her until she called me herself. So I waited. She said she did get me another gift, some plates and bowls, and told me they were on the way. I thanked her. Other than that, she didn't acknowledge Christmas had happened or that there were any disparities. She knows that I know that what she did was wrong, and she doesn't want to talk about it. Yes, I spoke with my husband. I laid it all out for him, and when he understood that this was much more than about a woman not getting enough gifts, he backed off his a-hole judgment. My husband admitted that he doesn't know what any of this is like, but that he's proud of how I handled myself given the circumstances, and he will continue to support me. And by the way, I'm going to ask you to support us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this one. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app and search what, Sophia?
Okay, story time.
There's a little bit left to the story. So,
So,
how do we feel?
feeling better. Clearly, the mom is the issue here. I don't know why she's acting like this. But I think keep going through your dad. Maybe give her some time to cool off, and hopefully we can, she can come around. But for now, doesn't seem like it's,
Yeah, not your best Christmas, OP.
No.
But that's okay. You're gonna have a baby soon, and you're gonna be Santa.
And hopefully your dad learns.
Santa.
Yeah. Hopefully your dad learns that he should participate in the gift giving.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like you need to have a full-on conversation with
Mhm.
that. Maybe you did or didn't, but I'd have been like, that sucked.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool.
That was not cool.
But let's go ahead and finish up the story. My husband said we also have a couple of options. We can cut off my entire side of the family altogether, but that it wouldn't be possible to just cut out my mom. I'm not ready to cut ties with my dad. So we went with option 2. We set up some ground rules. We will under no circumstances give them any unsupervised time with the baby. We will not go to visit them. We will not let them stay in our house. I will not call my mom. I will answer, but be short and sweet when I talk. Even if she does decide to acknowledge the past and truly apologize, I will forgive her, but I won't forget. They will have a very insignificant role in my son's life. I don't know. I get the ground rules, but I think we're a little heightened here. I think we need to take a step back and maybe just have a conversation with mom.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know the dad said wait until she cools down, which I think you can still do, but I think you can at one point have a conversation with her. Because I feel like, let's see why she did it.
Yeah.
Stories just like this.
True, Dad?
That's the end of that one, guys. Ew.
Ew.
Family dynamics are weird.
My mother accidentally called my brother-in-law's wife by his ex-girlfriend's name.
Oh, this is so awkward. Ew.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh.
My husband, male 22, and I, female 22, have been together for about 6 years. When we were just dating, he would bring his little brother, Jacob, now 21, to my family's parties. Jacob would always bring his girlfriend, Katie, to these family parties as well. By the way, this comes from OK Impact 8827, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, Jacob and Katie would hang out together for what felt like 24/7. And anywhere my husband and I went, Jacob and Katie would tag along. My family got to know Katie and built a good relationship with her. From an outsider's perspective, Jacob and Katie had a great relationship.
Aw.
He even gave her a promise ring after 2 years of being together.
Oh, cute.
Fast forward to a few months after Jacob graduated from technical school. He moved about 3 hours away and began staying with a friend while working. Katie would go stay with Jacob and his friend for the majority of the week, and if not, then Jacob would travel back down to their city to see Katie. A few months after Jacob moved, he called my husband to tell him that he and Katie would no longer be seeing each other due to him cheating on her with another girl from his hometown, Crystal.
That checks out. I know exactly where you people are from. That's wild. Hear me out, though.
Yeah.
Kind of saw it coming.
Yeah.
I knew that once he left
Mm-hmm.
and Katie was like not by his side all the time,
Yep.
he'd get a little bored.
Crystal knew Jacob and Katie were together, but didn't care. When my husband and I found out Jacob was no longer with Katie, we were disappointed because we really liked her, but we understood that they were both still young, so things happen. No.
Oh, no.
We're not brushing cheating off as all things happen.
Yeah, let's get Jacob back on the hook here.
Yeah, put him back on that hook.
Accidents happen, guys. He tripped and fell into her. It's
Yeah,
okay.
breakups happen because they're still young. Cheating, no.
There's a little bit more of intention behind that.
We suggested to Jacob that now that he's single, he should go out and enjoy his gardening tool life since he cheated, and it seemed like that's what he wanted to do. Why are we encouraging this behavior?
Guess the single life's not for old Jacob.
Jacob didn't do that, and instead ended up marrying Crystal a couple months after he broke up with Katie.
Bro, what?
You proved a point.
Marrying?
A girl named Crystal?
He's like under 21 at this point.
Dude.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
Everybody makes mistakes.
That is a permanent mistake right there.
Although my husband and I didn't really like Crystal or the way his brother acted around Crystal, we obviously had no say in who he decides to be with. So we decided to build a relationship with her. On my husband's and my first visit home after 2 years, we decided to rent an Airbnb and have a cookout with both of our families. Prior to this cookout, my family had only met Crystal once. So my mom, Crystal, and I were in one of the bedrooms trying to put the babies to sleep. And my mom, who had been drinking, said to Crystal, "Katie, you gotta use this as a practice for when you and Jacob have a baby." Crystal responded with, "Oh, that won't be anytime soon." And then she exited the room.
Okay, cool. It was an accident.
That was like clearly an accident.
Mama was drinking.
That was clearly an accident. When she exited the room, I looked at my mom and said, "Seriously? You just called her Katie." Like I said, my mom had been drinking, and this was only her second time meeting Crystal versus Katie, who she had known for 2 years. That's an honest mistake.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong here.
Opie,
That's
you literally explained it.
yeah.
You seem like Opie went. I know you're one of us too, but I'm gonna call you out on this. She literally called her Katie after meeting her for the second time, while Katie's been around for 2 years.
Yeah.
Why-
I feel
why do you
like
have it- yeah,
I feel like that's an honest mistake, Opie.
Yeah, agree, Savannah.
Ah! See, I reacted calmly. Since Crystal didn't mention anything about being called Katie, we were hoping maybe she didn't hear what my mom said. I went and knocked on Crystal and Jacob's door to apologize, and when Jacob opened the door and I apologized, he seemed confused as to what I was talking about. So I made up an excuse and went back to talk to my husband about what happened.
Okay, we could have dropped the ball here. Seems like Opie's still bringing it up. It's not an issue.
I also don't think that you need to apologize. It's not your fault. Like, your mom accidentally said the wrong name. I feel like if she wants to go apologize, then she should. But I don't think you've done anything wrong
Opie
here.
probably wants to have a good relationship.
Yeah, with
Crystal.
Crystal. And this is like probably hasn't really met her a lot before, it seems like.
It seems like this.
First time she's been home. I think you
Honest
didn't
mistake.
necessarily need to bring it up because it wasn't your fault.
I will say I've been in this predicament where my parents did call one of not now, but in high school, where my parents called one of my previous girlfriends an ex's name,
Oh yeah.
and it was very awkward.
I mean, it's
gosh.
awkward, but I don't think it's anything to like necessarily like if it was done maliciously
No, it was
and
like,
repeatedly different.
and
But
I-
it's like a one-time thing.
and she corrected. She's like, "No, my name's this." And he's like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
And I looked at him like with like I was like, "Are you serious?
Yeah.
Did you just do that?"
Yeah,
kind of thing.
you rag on them and then you get over it. So I made up an excuse and went back to talk to my husband about what happened. The following day, I was able to catch Jacob alone, and I asked him whether or not Crystal heard my mom. When he said yes, I immediately began apologizing and asked if he wanted me to apologize to her on behalf of my mom, since my family had already gone back home. But Jacob said no, that Crystal was over it and it wasn't a big deal.
Okay.
Turns out it was. The day our vacation was over, Jacob talked to my husband and told him that I had made a rude face towards him and Crystal. I didn't. And that Crystal was still very upset that my mom never apologized, even though he said it was fine. By the way, you should apologize to us if you haven't listened to full episode stories just like this. Because you can just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a bokeh storytime. Easy as that.
Boom.
There's a little bit left of this story. Honestly, OP, I feel like you're taking a lot of the blame here when none of it is your fault.
Oh, mama.
Your brother cheated on his girlfriend, got married way too young, and is now having problems with his current wife because she's being immature because she is quite young.
I feel like this is a good test for the young couple to see what kind of people they are.
Yeah.
By having a little mistake and seeing how everyone responds.
Reacts to it.
And kind of lets me know where I'm going to be spending my holidays.
Yes, and also the fact that she and he are getting mad at you when you literally have done nothing wrong. Like, I guess I could understand maybe that they get mad at the mom a little bit for this.
Yeah.
But you did nothing and even offered to apologize on behalf of your mother.
This is weird.
Fast forward to now, we're planning our baby's birthday party, and when we ask if they'll make it, their response is, well, I don't know, I might be working. The party is in December. How much time in advance does one need to request a day off? The birthday party is going to be at my mom's house due to her having the most space to host. This is definitely affecting the relationship between my husband and his brother, but I just don't know what to do anymore. It seems like any time we try to sit down and talk with them, everything's okay, but the attitude still continues. I'm at my wit's end dealing with them and trying to keep the peace. And that's the end of that story. I just don't think it's like on you. I think you're taking a lot of responsibility, which is fair. But I think at the end of the day, your brother-in-law is being young and immature.
Mm-hmm.
He's 21,
Mm-hmm.
kind of tracks for that age. And I think that if he's going to behave that way and if your sister-in-law's going to behave that way, then that's on them. And you haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah. Tell your mom to get her names right, because that's ridiculous. She shouldn't be doing all that.
Yeah.
The mom. This is all on the mom. The
Yeah,
mom should
it
honestly.
is. She should have apologized.
She needs to go and really go into therapy and check herself after this.
Okay, well.
Because that's just unacceptable on all fronts.
Wait, remember what he did? He
What?
cheated.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is on the mom, though. That's fine.
Yeah.
Put it back.
The
on.
cheating's on the mom.
Cheating's on the mom.
Cheating's
And
on the mom. Everything's on the mom.
It's
It's
how,
all your
how
mom.
the parents raised. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Your mom let you watch too much TV with people cheating. That's on her.
Yeah, this is my Riley sarcasm flag.
Oh, there's a flag for that.
He's a
now?
doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Just
it
in
be-
case the viewers don't register it.
Can I have blue and green in it?
Yeah. So that was that story. And now we're going to read some comments from an old video that we posted. Wife cheated with her cousin, divorce lawyer reacts, featuring Sarah A. Intelligator. And this was posted on September 21st, 2025.
Do you remember?
TLDR, OP, 31 male, found out his wife, 28 female, cheated on him with her own cousin. I remember this.
I remember this.
Just days before their big move to Florida, she pushed for divorce, but once OP started moving on, she suddenly begged him to stay. OP has to decide if he should forgive her or end the marriage for good. If you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video. And Keon's going to read some
I'm
comments.
going to read some of the comments. We have a comment here by Heracles. Let me take off my glasses. I have allergies. All right. So Heracles says, so we're all in agreement that there was a lot more than talking going on with the cousins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cue that one song with the guitar riff.
Talking with some hips.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. All right. Comment number 2 by bomb.com2168. Another comment from them. This is great. That first story is absolutely wild. I hate when people are like, get back with me for the kids. You're never getting back with / staying with someone for the kids. It's for yourself. It's better that kids grow up in 2 different households than in one with turmoil. Not to mention, the wife is cheating with her cousin. Oh, that's
Yeah.
a gross thing to say.
Disgust.
Yeah. I don't care if it's emotional or what. There's no way in HE double hockey sticks I'm going to stick with a cheater, let alone one who's committing the cest of in. Ugh. Ugh.
I mean, it might be good for the kids to see different family dynamics if you want to stay open-minded, but if you don't want that, then probably not. Good.
I'm
Stand.
waving the flag again. I'm rewatching Ted Lasso, and one of the character Higgins, whenever he's uncomfortable, he goes,
Yes.
and that's the noise
Love Higgins.
I'm making. Me too.
Comment number 3 here by Amy Blue Soul. One of my childhood friends in high school was dating a guy, and she was telling her grandma about her boyfriend. The grandma says, John Smith? Is his mom Lucy Smith? When friends say yeah, grandma says they're third cousins. Oh, they stopped dating. Hadn't gotten full spice level yet, so that was good. I mean, I don't know.
Coming from a town where there's a lot of people and it's small,
I mean, they didn't even question the name stuff.
at what line of cousins are you like, no? Is it third cousins? Is that a line? What if you're
If
fourth
I
cousins?
know that a person is in any way related to me,
What if you're fourth cousins, but it's not blood related?
No.
If there's any sort of
Go to a
relation-
family gathering?
Yeah.
Ugh.
If
No, no,
I'm
no, no,
going
but
to
it's
a
not
family-
blood related.
It
Like,
don't matter. It don't matter.
okay,
It
you don't know.
I don't want to know.
You don't know.
I don't
You
want to.
you fortunately live in a city where like that happens. If it's fourth cousins, not blood related at all, it's like, oh, my mom's cousin's sister's aunt, that is my aunt by marriage, married.
No, I
that.
see what you're saying.
You're still
I
Morality-
see what
like,
you're saying. I'm
morally,
still not doing that.
For sure. I
Interesting.
just wouldn't want any connection.
Interesting.
I want zero connection.
So first cousins, you share a grandpa.
Yeah.
Second
Why are
cousins, you
you-
share a great grandpa. Third cousins, you share a great great grandpa. Fourth cousins, you share a great 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 grandpa. But it's fourth cousins through marriage. It's like that doesn't.
Yeah, no,
matter.
I see what you're saying. There's no moral problem here. I just personally,
For that, Sharks, I'm out.
I just don't want any. I don't want to even see them at a family. Yeah, Awesome Ashley says if I might see them at a family reunion, no.
This,
Alright,
is
cool.
this is why I've also told my mom when she was like, oh, are you going to date a Filipino girl? I said, heck no.
It might be my cousin.
They legitimately could. All
Well-
Filipinos are related. I say it, we're family, but it's like, I will never date a Filipino girl.
Fun
Sorry.
fact: we're all related.
Related to them.
Look, back to the comments here.
We're all related. We all are somewhat of cousins.
We have another comment here by Alexi Caceres Gurad. I definitely butchered that, 328. Sorry about that. But, by the way, very interesting episode with the advice of a specialist. As a 46-year-old person myself, sometimes I wish I could bring host with the perspectives of more years of life experience. And that was because we did have a guest host,
Yeah,
which was very lovely.
and she was great.
She was great.
Which is fun. I love their boots.
Her boots were cool.
They were meant for walking. That's what they're going to do.
So stupid.
Thank you.
And those are the rest of the comments from that video. And this is the end of the episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And
see you tomorrow.